Well, I apparently am your only person today, and I'm your apparent host, Zach, of the Nick and Zac Show, because nobody else has deemed that we are worthy enough for their presence today. Um, uh, Nick has some excuse. We have a guest that is coming on in about another 25 minutes, give or take. So I'm just trying to see if I can kill a little bit of time, so maybe we get somebody on. I had a little internet difficulty, otherwise I would have been alone right at 8. But um, it seems to think I need Wi-Fi connection or something. I don't know. Actually, everything was all lined up, as you can see. It started and then it just dipped out on me. Um, so it's the six one half dozen the other. I'm not sure where to take this show at this point because nobody else wants to come on. We had some things lined up, some discussions, would work well with multiple people versus less people. Again, you get the joy of only me. We have the other Zach for the show that apparently has to take children to go look at lights, and he's being blackmailed into it. I think I'm not really sure what's going on there, but I'm thinking there's some blackmail going on, things like that. We could turn this political. We've got lots of things going on in the political side of things, but that's the insanity of that. It's getting boring. I don't know everyone else. It's getting boring to me. It's the same thing again and again and again, and everybody wants to act surprised that something new happened, and it's just again not an ever changing issue. Again, nobody else is on. This conversation is really boring because we have nobody really watching right now. So I'm not even talking to an audience. I might as well have pre-recorded or just waited it out, but I'd already started, and then you get 18 minutes of a no start. And apparently, the answer to the title is the Who Will Show show. This show is going to have nobody. I also capitalized WHO, hoping that they try to snag it with the algorithm, thinking that I'm talking about some virus stuff, just to see if they would waste time with it. I'm sure it'll come up, but we're not talking about the who. We're talking about whom. Again, no Nick. We got one person lined up. Another person won't read the messages. Other invitees that were supposed to show up. No, nobody's looking. In fact, when I told everybody to keep the page semi-professional for our messenger thing instead of some of the little too far comments and little gifs and pictures and whatnot that they're putting up because they think it's funny, a semi-professional nature is all I ask, and then all of a sudden people want to start disappearing. I don't know. It's like they all got mad. I don't get it. So we're just trying to kill time here. I'm not sure which way to take this to keep you entertained for the next 20 minutes. I don't know. Where do we go from here? We've got comments at least. Oh, yeah. No one is coming to the show. I could change the title to No One is Coming to the Show as a show. The only thing interesting would be is if I pulled up right now and there was some sort of freaking, fact check on our show just because I wrote WHO. Fact check on our show. Well, they don't have one yet. Do not yet have one. I don't have any good answers for some of this stuff. Yeah. Boring amount of time. This show is set up for multiple people, and people say, "Oh, I should be on," and then they don't show. hosts of the show that miss for 3 fucking weeks can't show to the one show. I don't get this one. This one blows my mind a little bit. They could at least be watching the goddamn show right now. But no, they don't want to do that either. I guarantee you the co-host of this show, if he comes on right now here to hear me, hasn't listened to anything from the shows he's missed whatsoever. I'd put money on it. I'd put all the cash in my wallet. And normally there's not cash in my wallet. But no, he doesn't want to even care. This is my call out. My call out. If you actually were paying attention, you would see me calling you out right now, and you'd be coming on. Or if you're watching this in, sometime in the near future, you would be you'd be calling me right now to be like, "Hey, dude, what the hell?" But no, you won't. You won't even know this conversation happened 21 minutes into the show. Which is technically only 11 minutes into the show, which is technically less because I had to start late because of internet problems. So you still have even less of an excuse. Where is everyone? Who's going to show? Will we even have a holiday show? I'm guessing not. They can't show up to a normal show. I know they'll show up New Year's Eve. The best part is I knew I had a conversation to hold that would involve Nick. Quite drastically involve Nick. And see where he felt things go. And anybody else on the show with their experience would have been able to put forth a fair amount of input because I've got questions. I don't want to ruin it for the viewer, though, because then you're going to have to hear me go on about it twice if people actually showed up. Why would you want me to rehash the same thing again and again and again, all because some dumbass doesn't want to show on time? I also want to know how I have friends when I call all of them things like, "You stupid fucking dumbass." It's probably a good question. Maybe that's why they're not here, except they talk to me the same way. So, I mean, maybe we're not really friends. They're never getting a paycheck out of this if they can't show, because why would I pay them to not show up? In fact, if they showed up in the next 60 seconds, I will write a check to them. Cash value of $1. But I will write a check to them and I will put it in the mail. There's only one person who's asked for a check. I'm offering it. Offering it right now. But you're not going to get it because you're not watching. This isn't a call me in the future. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure I'm still under the 60 seconds. I don't know. I mean, where did this show go from here? I might as well just let you stare at the painting above my head. And mute the microphone and let you guys just stare at that until people show up. Or nobody shows. I have one person who should be showing. I'm literally killing time for the next, hopefully less than 16 minutes, for them to get parked so they can come on the show. Until then, no one's showing. Not even Nick. I know for a fact when that says 24 seconds there, I've been over 60 seconds. Just in case. Yeah, he just missed out on it. There goes your check in the mail, Mr. Other Zach. Ha. This literally is the most pointless rant I've gone on. I have nothing that like, what am I supposed to talk to you guys about? literally we have nothing else going on right now minus the conversation because I've got nobody watching to interact with. I can go on about all sorts of things, like VA sending me a letter wanting me to participate in some survey thing. Oh, we'll help you with pain management and PTSD using meditation and yoga and massage therapy. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and you do it at home. Okay, so my wife's going to be thrilled with that concept. Uh-huh. Piss off. Then I ain't doing yoga nowhere. Do I look like someone who does yoga? No. 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 Am I drunk enough for this? No. 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 Literally have 15 more minutes to kill. I'm watching the clock. If I thought the computer would handle it, I would share. It won't let me share screens off phones. If I would thought this computer would handle it, I would literally just start throwing up freaking like little things just to try to kick things over. But I don't know. What I do know, we need somebody like the other co-host to show up soon. Should we text him? He'll ignore us. Working on. Oh no, mine shows one person. Who's this other person watching us? Who may you be? Go ahead, put a comment in the. Oh, now mine's updated. There's that nice delay. So, drop your comments in the what the comment section. I would tell you to subscribe to this channel, but based on the last 27 minutes, not even worth your time. I hope that changes shortly. And that we get our co-host on, because apparently I'm the host today. We got comments welcoming other people. We also have comments telling me that I had no cash in my wallet anyways. Well, that sucks to be them. They dropped out. I don't blame them. Probably trying to figure out what was going on. Other person, thanks for having shown. We'll find out. Even just audio feed from our other host would be great. They literally came on, saw it's just me and hasn't changed, and they left. We get more views when Nick's on the show than when he's not. It's a cold hard fact. We do. Every time. Every single time. Too bad we don't have other people like watching. I can answer questions. That I can do that. If we have feeds in the comment section, I'm able to go off that. There is a delay though, I've noticed. About a 10-second delay, give or take. 12 minutes? 11 minutes. We should have somebody else on in about 11 minutes. I'm probably going to get tagged for it. But let's see. Can we? No, I can do off my own YouTube, I'm sure. Let's see what we can do. See if we can do anything here. Oh, one person's watching us live now. Oh. Oh, getting Merry Christmas messages from people. That's polite of them. A little early, but I appreciate it. Let's see. What can we... Let's bring this up just because we can. We'll mute it. See if I can freak out the internet today. There we go. Yeah, we can see nonsensical. There we go. Hey, look, nonsensical video that we had on our own channel. Oh, Nick's answer is his phone is charging. You can't talk and charge at the same time, apparently. So, yeah. Phone is charging. You making it. Phone is charging. Phone is charging. That's the answer. Okay. Well, that at least that's a great answer. Good job, Nick. That's an amazing answer for not being on. Hey, look. Nonsense. Video, so you can see. I mean, literally when we played this game, it was with my cousin that I was playing with and my wife. So as you see, three screens right there. The problem comes, well, you see two screens, but it's just how the system works. So there's 3 players here, right? So, but the problem comes, he doesn't talk when he's playing video games. So you start running there around and you need help, and he doesn't even tell you he's on his way. He just shows up out of nowhere. It's absolutely horrible. Yeah. So I mean, literally this is off my own channel. So screw you if you try flagging me. But yeah, this one it blows my mind when you play with different people how that can go. No problem streaming there whatsoever. This is in the new house with a little bit faster internet. Well, I shouldn't talk with my left hand on this screen because it doesn't want to pick up my hand. There, I can talk with my hand. Nope, it's gone now. Anyways, so the issue comes, he didn't cooperate in that way, but it was kind of fun. But I don't think anybody ever watched it. Like, I think that's our biggest issue. Nobody ever watched it. 21 views from June 13th. Oh, discussion with gaming, Borderlands 3. Well, that's nifty. It lets you do that. No comments, no nothing. I've never looked at any of this stuff, right? No likes, no nothing. Yeah, 21 views. People started seeing it, and that was as far as it went. Literally no other thing going on there. Just like right now, no other thing going on now. There's no talking, so people didn't care. Why do they want to watch the gameplay like that? They want to hear some talking. Like right now, I keep taking breaks, and I feel like I take too long a pause is not talking, and you're all hearing me talk. But at the same time, you're looking and going, where's the sustenance of what you're saying? Because there isn't any. I'm literally just telling stupid story after stupid story. With come back. So I mean, it's just it is what it is. But apparently, we can't live stream like that anymore. We'll get the wired internet connection. So it's one of those. I just I have some people can probably instantly get on, but right now they are spending time. Well, I don't have kids at the house today. Part of it. They're at grandpa's house. I ain't bringing grandpa to the show, but he's got the grandkids at the house. So, I mean, that's about the only kid I'd have. So, until the more 8:30 closer. So, I mean, it's one of those. I've got almost nobody coming on this show today. I mean, literally, I am probably boring all of you because I'm not talking about anything. Not like fun. I have shit to literally discuss that requires Nick. And without Nick, it's not interesting. That's the big issue. Without Nick, it's not interesting. Or without somebody else, so I can discuss, because I have issues with this. I mean, I'm wasting 37 minutes of your time now. 37 minutes of your time because nobody wants to show. It's amazing how much of your time I can waste. How much of your time you'll let me waste. Will you let me waste more? Who will show to this show? No one. The wind. No, if this wasn't causing stream issue, I could bring up a few things that I have ownership in, actually. So it'd be funny for them to flag me. Big problem is I got to get somebody else on the show. I can try. We'll see what happens. What's the worst that happens? I crash the stupid thing again. All right, we'll go with horrible. 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 Where's my volume? Oh, I get it through here. That's nifty. I get all the volume through here. Did it just freeze, or did I pause it? Am I an idiot? I paused it like an idiot, apparently. Or I don't know how to use YouTube on computers anymore. Who uses YouTube on a computer anymore? Literally, this is mine, and it's going to be funny if they try flagging this. Take that, YouTube. Ooh, we didn't change that background. Ooh, well, we need to do that. Oh, it won't start. It won't start. Nope. It'll never start again. See right there. Me. My wife. Literally, that don't exist anymore. The American Lawnmower Association monitored the lawnmower action. No lawnmower was harmed in the making of this film. Well, that makes me feel a lot better. Makes me feel a lot better. Oh, hey, finally, we have somebody on the show.
Well, you're talking about
This
lawnmowers.
This is a first. Now, how do I can't? Why is?
Are you there? Hola. Zach, can you hear me? I'll leave and come back. See if that.
Add to stream. Add to stream. Hey, there we go.
Hey, can you hear me?
Tap dancing Christ. Oh, okay. Now, why is my audio coming through the wrong spot? Speaker. Oh, that's why. Is this the spot? I don't know. Can you hear? Where's it coming from? Oh, still in the headset. Still in the headset. Okay. Speakers. Do we have? No. Since when do I ever wear my headset? There we go. I've had nobody come on for the last 44. Well, I mean, the first 15 minutes is just prep work, right? Nobody's come on until now, even our other co-hosts. So we've just got you right now, Mike.
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
Can you hear me? Okay, I guess there's a slight delay. Okay, awesome. So yeah, we're having all sorts of technical issues today, just to make technical issues fun. We'll see where it goes. I did the screwed up thing and decided, oh hey, I'll try to share video off of the YouTube there, and it turned out to be a horrible idea because it just screwed with everything. I knew it would because I don't have a slaved in freaking internet connection. I've got the nice little wireless going, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm on the Wi-Fi too. I'm on the back porch.
Oh, nice. So, yeah,
you can see Christmas lights behind me.
Well, I've got if the lights were out, you could see the reflection of the tree behind me. So like I said, I was supposed to have a litany of people like normal. Nobody shows up. Our co-host or our actual host doesn't show. We got the story now. His phone is charging. So use it on the charger. I don't know what these sounds like personal issues to me. Yeah. Everybody else, since I told them to start being more semi-professional in the Facebook Messenger group, that they've all kind of ghosted because they feel like I'm being. I don't know. There's certain things that it's like that's more like a personal, maybe between people thing. Don't share it with everyone.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got women on there. We've got men on there. We don't. Some of the women are not going to want to see Hooters girls in freaking with Taco Bell sauce hanging off with inappropriate language posted up on it. Who would think that this might come across as a? It's just like let's not. The semi-professional is what I'm after. Not it doesn't have to be professional. This isn't a professional style show, but give me something semi-professional.
Gotcha.
Hey, in a messenger group, the show obviously goes whichever way it goes. Humor is humor. We're not sharing images. It just wears, certain points cross certain lines, and we should be semi-respectful of each other to a degree with photography. Yeah. Words can be misunderstood. That's understandable. Blatantly derogatory jokes, a whole other story.
Just when it comes to those kind of things, like funny's funny, but try and understand everybody before you make your joke.
Well, it's not even just trying to understand everybody. It's literally when it says, because we haven't added you into it yet. It's the Nick and Zac Show group chat. So that would mean if you share something, it's something that you would bring onto the show, not necessarily share whatever funny meme you found for the day.
Right. That's what Facebook stories are for.
Right. Or start a personal chat group between everybody else. That's separate from that. It can include all the same people, but keep it separate.
Right. Right. So you want to talk about beer?
We can actually.
Show?
I've got
prepared.
I've got Southern Comfort. Does that count? Can we still discuss this with Southern Comfort?
Sure.
Okay, good, because I think my Bud Light Platinum might be skunked. I'm not really sure.
I think it started out as skunk.
No, that's besides the point, but it's been sitting in the fridge for like 3 weeks or more.
Yeah. Oh, it's skunk. It started out
it's got a 180-day lifespan, but that doesn't mean you should drink it.
Shouldn't drink it at day one, my friend.
Life's
too short for crap beer.
Well, I actually called Anheuser-Busch once because I bought beer at Walmart, and it was I opened it, skunked immediately. Got home, skunked immediately, and I was home visiting because I was still in the Army. Came home to visit, so it's the local Walmart, and I buy this beer, and I'm expecting to be able to drink it. So I call Anheuser-Busch, and I spend a good 30 minutes between being on hold and actually talking to somebody. They sent me T-shirts. They're like, look, this isn't on us. This is actually the seller. They're supposed to be in glass closing cases, not on open rack shelves, like all Walmarts want to. They're actually supposed to be sealed per the contract with Anheuser-Busch. Because they didn't follow the rules, yes, it's on them, and they said, take it back. But, we're going to send you this because it's not your fault either, and it's our product. So they sent me a bunch of free shirts. It was kind of neat. What did I really expect out of skunked beer? I just wanted them to stop having skunked beer,
Right.
The problem being it was outside their control. It's Walmart not following the guidelines that go with the beer.
Yeah. But when you're drinking beer that's not that great of quality anyway, you want to make sure you keep it as good a quality as you can.
Right. And I'll tell you, as driving truck, dealing with the major breweries like Anheuser-Busch, what happens is they won't let you leave the facility till you have X number amount of weight, even if that means you run out of hours, and then won't let you leave the facility until that point. So you can't leave with it. You got a trailer full of freaking beer, and they want to put on another 5,000 pounds. And then when you go to pull out, you can't park there and stay there for to shut down for the night because, well, that's not their responsibility. That's yours. Yeah, but you turned me around and took another 45 minutes to put 5,000 pounds on my truck. So I have some issues with some of these major breweries. Could you tell me why I would want to look elsewhere, though, for my beer?
Oh, 100%. Quality over quantity. So this here, what I'm drinking tonight is called Kalamazoo Stout. You ever had? So you might have had a Guinness. That's probably everybody's go-to thought on stout.
I've had Guinness. It's not bad when I'm in the mood for a Guinness.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
So
at what temperature is your beer then?
So you want to keep your temperature a little cooler than like a stout. You want to keep a little cooler than room temperature. You don't want to as cold as like what you'd want to drink a light at. But you don't want it room temperature necessarily. Stouts are different like that. Guinness you can drink refrigerated, but
Or
a
room
good stout you
temperature?
want kind of in between, just
Yeah,
below
yeah,
room
yeah.
temperature. Yeah,
Or
just
just
below
or
room
just leave
temperature. A little chill
or
to it,
just
but
leave your beer sit on the counter and drink it like a normal person.
I mean, I don't leave my beer sitting on the counter and drink it like a normal person. If it's winter time and you got a basement, you can leave it in the basement. You don't have to put it in the fridge. But that's a stout. You get some different beers. But so the thing with craft beer is you get better quality. You're going to pay a little higher price than you would for a 6 pack of Bud Light compared to a 6 pack of an IPA or a blonde or something like that. You're going to pay a
Right.
little more money, but you get a better quality. And the thing with craft beer is you get all kinds of different stuff. Bud Light, Miller Lite. You're kind of getting the same thing with a different brand. It's all an American light lager. But when it comes to the craft beer stuff, you've got pale ales, India pale ales, you've got blondes, lagers, hefeweizens, stouts, porters, and then everything's got their imperial version, which is just a bigger, badder version, usually a higher alcohol content than usually you have a session version where you have a lower alcohol content. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking for, what you like. A stout usually has as bolder flavors like chocolate and coffee and things like that. Like this is this Kalamazoo stout is brewed with chocolate, coffee, and brewer's licorice with a lot of hops. So it's this particular stout is hoppier, almost like an IPA is a hoppy beer. Um,
Right.
it has a higher hop content than your typical lagers. So yeah. So this one has a higher hop content, which I like. And a lot of people like sweet stouts. Like you can find all kinds of stouts that are brewed with, chocolate and that kind of thing. You can find just really overwhelmingly sweet. So for me, like I just want a little bit because I'm not big on sweets. But
Right.
tonight I was down at a brewery. That's where I was coming back from. That's why I'm running late. They had a chocolate peppermint stout that they released. So they always have this stout called it's a brewery pit down the road, and they have a stout called Blackstrap, which is it's a coffee milk stout. And it's pretty good. It's not super there. The video just lagged out. Okay.
Yeah. I'm
He
noticing
disappeared again.
it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Zach,
you.
can you?
Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Okay.
We'll look into our
Yeah.
manager
Yeah.
here.
So this brewery took this.
Who is it who's falling out?
We have a
Okay.
manager.
Yes. Actually, it makes things easier, and that's the person who is looks and goes, I don't want to see that shit. It's real fun, especially when don't offend my wife
Content.
because now I'm going to get mad at you. It makes things even easier for them. Like, don't piss off my wife, and I won't open my mouth. Real simple. You would think this would make sense.
Yeah.
And then we get the nice one down at the comment down at the bottom. Could it be made in Michigan? The Kalamazoo stout that you're drinking. Could that be from
Kalamazoo
Michigan?
stout?
Yes.
That's absolutely where it's made. It's absolutely where it's made. So Bell's is the people who made this beer.
Okay.
And they're in Kalamazoo. They brew in Comstock, which is just outside of Kalamazoo.
Okay. The person who makes the comment there, that would be my wife, and she is from Michigan, so she immediately knew where it was from. Does not drink beer at all. That's why we also have the comment of whiskey is better, because she doesn't touch beer. She doesn't like that taste. And that beer has a very distinct hopsy barley taste to it. It just is. Beer is beer, and it makes it hard for some of the fruitier drinks that she would be like, I could tolerate. Instead, it's Crown Apple and leave her the hell alone. That's her go-to. Is that? Did I lose you this time?
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I have a philosophy that Yeah, it just lagged out a little bit. So I have a philosophy that says everybody likes beer. You just haven't found a beer you like. So if your wife likes fruity stuff, I would recommend maybe like a sour that's not
It's
super
not
sour,
fruity stuff. She
or
doesn't like,
different like IPAs that aren't super hoppy.
and
Hmm?
find one that doesn't have that hops taste. I mean, that's where it becomes really hard.
Yeah, so you just got to play around with it. Like I didn't think I liked craft beer when I lived in Michigan. I had a friend who was just like, "Oh, you got to try this. You got to
Pretty sure
try
for me,
this."
it's not me.
And trying to like, and finally found beer that hit my palate.
Well, I think Mike is having some technical issues this time instead of me, which makes me feel a little bit better. It'd be nice if he wasn't, because then we could ask him a little
Huh? Zach, you there?
bit on
Can you hear me?
duty with me, because I said WHO, in the title. I'm telling you, it's got to be what it is. Oh, you back? Welcome back. I lagged a little bit. You lagged a little bit.
Oh,
We
I
all
didn't leave. You
froze.
left.
No.
Yeah.
It all froze across the board. These things happen. I really think it's Google's just mad at me right now because I put WHO in all caps in the title just to see if I'd get a little flag by not even talking about it. Just to see the Google's game.
The World
Literally
Health
just to see
Organization.
Google's game. Yeah.
Oh,
Now
okay.
let's not say it again, just in case it catches the algorithm, right? But the who instead of whom, just to see if the algorithm would catch and
Yeah.
try to think, to try to put a little blurb at the bottom. Now, I'm not afraid to talk about these things. I just really thought it would be funny if we got flagged in process.
Yeah, I got you. I don't know if you heard me. Did you hear me tell the story about how I got into craft beer? How like my buddy would give me. Yeah. Well, I think everybody likes beer. They just don't know what they like. Most people probably have a Bud Light and they're like, "Oh, I don't like that," or maybe a Yingling, and they're just like, "That's just not. No, I don't really like beer." My philosophy is, no, you probably do like beer. You just haven't found a beer that you like. You've just had crappy beer. Because there's a whole world
I'm not
of beer
going to
out
take
there.
that as a necessarily wrong concept, but it's also it comes to the fact of there's certain elements to a beer that just can't be removed either. But it's just like you can find a wine you like, but it doesn't mean they make it anymore.
Sure.
You can find something you like, it just will you get that same reoccurring? Because at one point I liked Red's Apple Ale, and then given about a year, I was like, this is garbage. I think you can overdrink things too.
There's few ciders that I like.
Do what?
Yeah, you can definitely. Yeah, there's very few ciders that I'm all about. I'm very much a fan of Smith and Forge. If you haven't had it, I highly recommend it. And then there's a little winery in Michigan near where we used to live called Vineyard 2121, and they made a really great cherry cider.
Okay.
With that Michigan cherry flavor, and it'll knock your socks off.
Every
time we go back there, like
Michigan uses cherry like everybody else uses bacon. It's a little overdone.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes. Like Bell's has a cherry stout that I'm not a big fan of, and there's not a lot of stuff that Bell's makes that I don't enjoy, but that cherry stout just didn't do it for me.
Well, they start putting it in the like their beef sticks and beef jerky too, and it doesn't taste all that well. But if you're from there, it's amazing. But they also like Verner's up there too, and we all can't be perfect. I don't like ginger ales at all.
Guy? Oh, you're not even a Schweppes guy.
No, I don't touch ginger ales at all. In fact, most people, it calms their stomach. Me, it makes me want to vomit. So it does not work at all as a ginger ale.
Gotcha. But there's a whole world of beer out there. So, if you like fruitier stuff, like you can definitely find like even IPAs, which are super hoppy, you can find more fruity than hoppy IPAs. And like my wife doesn't like hoppy stuff, but there are a lot of fruity IPAs she really gets into.
Yeah, my
So,
wife.
it's just a matter of trying different stuff and find what you like.
I finally introduced my wife to some whiskeys that she was willing to try, and from there it went downhill. Nothing else satisfies her anymore. It's Crown Apple is about it. You can't touch anything else. Crown Apple mixed with some Coke. I do not understand why Coca-Cola hasn't gone and made an Apple Coke yet, because everybody's mixing it. Why not make money off of it?
Why not? I mean, yeah. Actually, Crown is not one of my favorites, but I do enjoy a Crown vanilla and eggnog. Like, I'm not a big eggnog person, but a Crown vanilla and eggnog.
I haven't tried that. I don't have Crown vanilla in the house anymore, but we've been trying to get that Crown peach, but you can't find it anywhere.
Yeah, I don't usually go out of my way to find Crown. And for Thanksgiving, we went up to my brother-in-law's in Michigan, and he had some Crown vanilla, and my in-laws that were there wanted eggnog, so I just mixed them together, and I was like, "This is really good." I was surprised. I surprised myself. I ran out of beer.
Well, I mean, I'm almost out of this, but next time, come next year, we should have our studio, like actual studio set up. So if somebody's visiting, they can stop in and they can actually live, like more than one person together, and then you'd be able to swing by next time as you're driving right past the house, anyways.
Nice.
We set people up because we got the camper. If people come over and they need a place to stay, we set them up in the camper. But we've had other family members come to our house before, and they ruined it for everybody. Literally everybody. And now it's you know what? We've got the camper. It's not in storage because we bought a house during this COVID thing, and finally getting moved in. We haven't set up a studio. That's why I'm running off a laptop. That's why I'm running off Wi-Fi. That's why I'm running off everything else, because I'm still trying to get everything situated. Because moving sucks. It's hard, and then especially when you're working, 60 some hours a week. It makes it hard to get things set up, because I've got to actually convert part of the garage, and I've got to build a floor or raise the floor and everything else. So, but by next year, we should be good, and you'll have to swing in and have a nice actual sit in live at a table and not have this back and forth computer thing.
Yeah,
we should be past the COVID at that point, that everybody can visit each other again.
Yeah, I've got high hopes. At first I wasn't super hopeful about the vaccine, but it's hilarious. I feel like everybody switched. Like, if you were super into the vaccine before, now you want nothing to do with it. And if you were completely against the vaccine before, now you want something to do with it. For me, it was all about the people who deal with viruses and the people who deal with vaccines. And if they say, then I would be fine with it. That's the way I've always felt about it. Like, I'm not a virologist. I'm not a vaccine doctor. But if a vaccine doctor says take the vaccine, I'm going to take the vaccine. You know what I mean?
Well, I go with Tim Pool's method. You trust your doctor. I don't have time to research all of this. If the doctor says to get it, but when you're younger and you have no health issues, you're probably not going to see this thing for a decade.
Right. Probably not.
They're giving it to the elderly. They're giving it to we're not going to. Most people aren't going to see this vaccine. I mean, they might, because VA is going to look at my lungs and they're going to make that determination. But if I'm allergic to an item in it, they're going to say no. And so, I mean, who knows? But I'm not going to be getting this thing before March. But I don't see why we can't start opening things up now that the vaccine. Tell me why. It makes no sense to me, and it's how they're pushing it. Even Fauci. Get the vaccine, both doses, right? And give it, let's say, a week for it to run its course, right? The vaccine itself. After your second dose, right? So you're talking 21 days later, you come back in. So you're talking a month, right? Let's just say a month after you get your first vaccine, as long as you follow the proper protocol. Why do you still have to wear a mask and socially distance? That doesn't make sense. Now, if they said, well, because of HIPAA, we don't want people, you can't, they can't ask, and so it puts them in an awkward position. Sure, and I don't want you stamping a card saying I got vaccinated, so sure, but that's not what they're selling it as.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I feel like it's easy to get caught up in the confusion and the lack of common sense with some of this stuff. To me, the way I figure it is, even if I get a vaccine, I'll probably still wear a mask till the majority of the country's been vaccinated, just because, and maybe this is just my ignorance on the situation, but even if I get a vaccine and my body can fight it off, doesn't mean I'm not a carrier, and doesn't mean like if I get close to somebody and I breathe on them, I could still infect them. And for me, that's the way it's always been. I've never been worried about myself. Never. I've never been worried about getting the virus. I've been concerned about being a spreader. Like, to me, that's the whole thing. Like, I wear a mask and I try to stay apart from other people. Like, I still go out. I still live my life. I went to a brewery tonight, for God's sakes, in Florida. Just had, good Lord, we've been breaking records on cases, you know. I went to a brewery
Well, I mean,
but
what do you
I
expect?
stayed distant. I wore my mask when I wasn't drinking a beer. Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. Are you guys under?
We might only get one
curfew?
round of the vaccine.
Yeah, but are you guys curfewed out?
DeSantis don't care.
Yeah, exactly. We've got DeWine up here who's like,
out?
DeWine's like, well, we're extending your curfew. What did we do wrong? Like, why are we grounded longer, Daddy? Like, what, why? Well, because you know, you didn't wear your mask enough. All the time isn't enough. Well, you know, your mother said, fuck her. She don't know what she's talking about. She's crazy. You know, like, come on. Like, what the fuck? Like, but they extended out our curfew past. No, it's not because there's a spike in cases. You're literally extending it through the holidays. Pennsylvania, they stopped during Thanksgiving liquor sales from 5 p.m. the day before up through after Black Friday. They're going to do it again for Christmas. I put money on it.
Yeah, see, some of that stuff is like common sense. Like, why would you put you know, I don't know what Pennsylvania is doing as far as like bars and restaurants go, but like, why would you stop me from going to the liquor store, but I can go to the restaurant? You know what I mean? Like, it's that common sense stuff that like I think bothers more people. But you kind of lose the mess. You kind of lose you lose you can't see the forest through the trees. Like, there's a lot of
Pennsylvania doesn't even know how to change
that flies.
What do you expect, though? Pennsylvania doesn't even know how to change their own election laws by their own rules. Like, it just, like, well, this didn't work. Well, we won't get it done in time. Let's just do it this way instead, even though it's wrong. That's fine. Our judges will back it. That's fine. Okay, follow your own fucking rules. I don't care what they are. Just follow them. Because that's what screws up for the rest of the country, asking questions, going, well, are you right or are you wrong? Well, technically, we're both. Okay, you know, it doesn't matter how it turned out. The problem is, don't put unnecessary confusion in it. It's like keeping blue laws. I mean, it's like, well, if I piss in my toilet, but I don't have 2 locks on it, now I'm breaking the law. You know, like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
you know?
And I think some of that's the problem. A lot of this COVID stuff and the masks and a lot of that stuff has just been, it's been overshadowed by just the stupidity and the incompetence and the lack of common sense. Whereas, you know, it's just like, all right, you know what? If we just consider everybody else, like I said, you know, I might get a vaccine, but I would still wear a mask till everybody gets a vaccine, because I know that I'm probably a petri dish and I can breed the virus, whether it's going to affect me or not. Well, and maybe that's my ignorance on vaccines, but that's how I've always felt about it.
Well, here's my thing. Well, why stop because of the COVID? There's other diseases out there. We might as well just get used to wearing these all the time. Don't show your face. We don't need it for human interaction in American society and all Western culture. No. Let's just wear it because you can have the flu, or you know, it's going to protect people from pink eye. You know, start wearing face shields and you know. And to explain Kamala, however you pronounce her fucking name, wearing 2 masks in the one video. Like, why are people wearing 2 masks? This is stupid. It doesn't. Then wear the right size mask to begin with the first time.
Yeah, and it's also about the thickness of the mask. Like, what do they call them? The gaiters, just like the sock that goes over your head. Like, those things are not thick enough. Like, I think there's the match test where if you light a match and you can blow it out with whatever you're wearing over your face.
That's an N95. I can blow through an N95 just as easy. That's supposed to be good.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's what they say. So again, that comes back to the common sense and the bullshit. It's like, okay, if I can blow out a match through my mask, then my mask isn't thick enough. So if M95s are what they say, and you can't do it, I don't know. I haven't ever worn an N95. I just have some cloth masks that are thicker than. I have one of those gaiters, and it's not that thick. I double it up when I was wearing it, but I don't wear it anymore just because they're saying like that's not sufficient enough. So I have my other masks. But
and my issue comes, nothing's sufficient enough. Nothing. It doesn't matter what it is. Nothing's sufficient enough, because you had Fauci looking, saying, well, we need to wear goggles and face shields with the mask. And it's like, are you just trying to stay relevant at this point? Well, my thing is, are you just trying to stay relevant at this point? Because it's a never-ending cycle with this guy. Like, at first it's no mask, then it is mask.
The virus sense and just being conscientious.
Well, my thing is, the virus didn't change its mind and go, I'm going to be smaller now than what it was when they first found the virus, because they already knew the virus particles. And sure, airborne versus not airborne, let's ignore that. Let's just say, in general, if you have any virus that gets in your saliva, obviously it's going to be partially airborne, right?
Sure.
It wasn't an STD. We already knew this, all right? So, like all viruses, it's going to be spread somehow out of your facial orifices, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that regard, we look and go, okay, no mask. I rate it the same way, and don't get me wrong, to be able to do my job, I have to wear this stupid thing 90% of the time. There's sometimes I've got the doctor's letter that people aren't caring about anymore, because now they say, well, you should be at home anyways. Well, the electric company still wants its money for some strange reason. I have to work. So,
right.
I tolerate the mask
as much
as I can. Yeah, I tolerate as much as I can. I know the customers that aren't going to give me crap because I say I actually have medical conditions, legit problems with my lungs that I can't breathe through this thing. And so in that regards, I look at it like the TSA after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
90% of what the TSA does, ineffective. Maybe 10% they actually stop shit. The other 90% of the time, every bad action that's about to be perpetrated that would involve travel, right, is stopped by the FBI, the CIA, the NSA. They already are aware of these things. Secret Service working on these to stop these things. 90% of it's solved before they ever get to the airport. So it really comes down to and it made you feel safe and willing to fly again after this horrible 3 jets freaking taking over, 2 of them, terroristically attacking buildings, and 1 of them, crashing into Pennsylvania. Wow, Pennsylvania.
We don't think it serves as a deterrent, though. It doesn't serve as a deterrent.
Well, deterrent is a psychological.
There is this.
It's a psychological deterrent. It's not necessarily a physical deterrent, because it's not hard to bypass securities and things. And but let's not get more complicated and things I really don't want to discuss, because if you got a background in any sort of things, or you've watched enough the NCIS, you know how to bypass TSA. All right, they have to. They're always going to be a step behind, but like 2 steps ahead. It just depends on where you're at in the situation. But we didn't have, I don't know if you remember, like I remember walking with my great grandma up at the gate, watching her plane take off from the windows into in local airports, and then now you can't even go anywhere near the front door if you're not flying, because bad shit happened. Right. How do we make people feel safe again so they'll travel again? That's the mask. It's the TSA of the COVID. How do you get people to go back to work because you say, we need you to work, otherwise our society will die? Not that it'll crumble. People will die if the grocery stores aren't open. People will die if the power shuts off. People will die if there's no gas and there's no fracking, because we don't have the natural gas to heat the houses. People will die if we do not get back to work.
Mm-hmm.
And to pay those people that have to protect you from dying, we need to get you back to work too. Being a waitress, being a waiter, being the serving food, catering, whatever. We have to get back to normal. How do we do that? wear a mask. All of a sudden, when we need to open up the government, masks will protect us. Okay, I will accept the premise. We need to make stupid people that can't just go, I have to work, go, okay, I feel safe to work. Instead of just looking, going, I know there's a risk, but I have to work because I can't stay at home. If you financially could afford to stay at home and your health risk, by all means, stay at home. I have not seen my grandparents this whole time. Partially because my grandma's a little fearful, and now there's some serious health concerns at this point. I went from March to June not seeing my son because he's on oxygen 24/7. So it's not that I did not take this virus seriously, Now he potentially has the COVID.
Yeah.
As of like right now, waiting on test results. He had a negative, and they go, I don't know how you're negative, so they sent in for a mail-in. This is supposed to be my weekend to have him. Go figure, coming right into Christmas.
Right.
But and that being just the sake of, it's not that I didn't take this seriously. I took it very seriously, just not my own health.
The masks
Everybody else's, but not my own.
I mean, to me, the masks are important, and to your point earlier about why don't we think about that with all the other stuff that we deal with. I mean, in Asian cultures, they wear masks a lot, even before COVID came. Because they think about those kind of things because they're crammed together in a small space, and there's a lot of them. And, they have different viruses. Like, I think they dealt with different swine flus and things like that. And different, I don't know. I'm speculating on what they dealt with, but I know that they wear them.
Right?
Huh?
You went to college, right?
I'm still in college.
Okay, well, I dropped out of college after a year, right? But I was in class with people that actually were from Japan. And I saw that, and the looks they get from Americans. Have you seen it? Like before this COVID thing, like interacted with them when they were sick.
Yeah, I remember seeing them at O'Hare. I remember seeing them in O'Hare when I've flown, and you see people from Asia and they're wearing masks, and it's almost like it's just part of their daily routine. And back then, that was maybe 10 years ago, it was surprising to me. But now, if I see somebody in a mask, like it's more surprising not to see somebody in a mask when I'm out and about. But but for them, it's just part of life. For us, it's never been that way, and maybe to your point, it should have been that way. But when it comes to
my
COVID,
point wasn't that it should have been. Do not take it that way.
No,
at all.
No, that's not what I meant. But
to
your point that we don't think about it with these things. Like when it's flu season, do we wear a mask when we go out? No. Well, maybe we should have thought about that. But now all of a sudden we're thinking about that.
Well, we were taught differently than what I think the Asian population is, where they're wearing the masks because that's. And it became fetishy to American culture with the Japanese too, which makes it creepy. Look at some of these weird Comic-Con furry people that they took the masks to that level, and now we're all like, oh, let's all wear masks. There's some creepy people out there getting all excited because people are wearing masks every day. Trust me, it's
hard pass.
Yeah. So, but my thing is, we used to carry handkerchiefs when we were younger. That's died off generationally, but you'd carry a handkerchief. You went to cough, you pull out your handkerchief. Now, sure, Rudy Giuliani apparently, had to wipe his nose and then accidentally wiped his face with the snot side in, okay. Shit happens. He's an old man. He probably forgot he wiped his nose or nothing came out. Who knows? But it's gross. Though, by all means,
I'm sure
gross.
that happens. I mean, if you carry a handkerchief, you probably, it's...
Don't think about it.
I'm thinking about Billy Madison right now when she's blowing her. He sees a lady blowing her kid's nose, and then she looks over at him and starts tapping herself with and he's like, "The mucus queen is yours."
I saw words on the Facebook. I'm watching the Facebook, right, and this lady is walking her dog, takes her mask off, uses it to clean up the dog poop, drops it into the trash can. Looks around, flips it so it's poop side out, where you can't see a stain on a white mask. Poop side out, and puts it back on and continues to walk her dog.
It's disgusting. Just leave the dog shit on the ground.
That's what I was thinking. I was
just leave it on the ground, man.
Or just throw the mask away at this point, whatever.
Throw the mask away. Just walk home without the mask. That's what I'm saying. Like,
But
you got to be careful not to get caught up in the BS of it all. Like, you know what? If you threw the it's better to throw the mask away and walk home without your mask on. For one, it's not as dangerous being outside. Like I guess the studies that I've seen, like people have to listen to, say that like the UV light it's harder to transmit when you're outside in the UV light. But like, just throw the mask away and go home. Like, just walk home without your mask.
well, there's places there are cities in this country that will fine you for not wearing a mask. New York City, they've got undercover cops going around to diners to freaking find people.
Okay, so if you're inside, that's a different story. But if you're outside, just throw the mask away and go home. But
Well,
again, it comes.
I'm just saying that no, walking around outside is illegal without a mask in certain cities.
Yeah. Well, technically, we have a mask mandate here in Orlando. Here in Orlando, we have a mask mandate, but it's non-enforceable. Like, the governor has removed any amount of enforcement for mask mandates. People still wear the mask because they believe that it's the right thing to do. But you don't you cannot be penalized. Like, businesses can say, like, we're not going to serve you if you don't have a mask. Like, most of them have it on their door, but there's no penalty for not wearing your mask anymore.
What I have an issue with is when it used to say medical exemption on the bottom of all of those. They've now removed that.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever saw that.
Well, no, it's within the last couple of weeks. They've now removed it.
Yeah, I don't even know if I've ever seen that here. Is that something in Ohio?
It was.
Yeah.
And it said, because everywhere said, there are medical exemptions recognized that create mask wearing as a difficulty for you as a person. Like, you will have trouble breathing wearing a mask. Well, that doesn't mean I should have to hide at home. If I want to risk my life, that's the thing. It's supposed to be, if I choose to go to Walmart, right, knowing I have serious medical issues, I'm choosing to place myself in a risky environment, one way or the other. If I walk into that store, I'm making that choice. Forget say I haven't left the inside of my house, and nobody's left the inside of my house, and I've had groceries put in my refrigerator for me in my garage, and a week later I grab those groceries out of the refrigerator to bring them in the house. Like, do everything safe, right? So there's no way I'm bubbled. I don't have this virus. And I go, oh my God, I need toilet paper right now. I have to run to Walmart. Nobody else can do it. I'm going to risk it because it's been 6 months since I've left my house. That's my choice to risk my life.
Sure.
By choosing to go to Walmart. And I think there's a level that we've forgotten, is that you have the choice to risk your life when you're a serious risk person. 90% of the people out there don't have any serious health issues that they need to concern themselves about. And do we need to quarantine and keep safe the people that are high risk? Yes, I think we should. But should the rest of us push forward, make sure we're doing our jobs, work, everything we need to keep the economy going so the hospitals can stay going? Because if we don't work, the hospitals don't get paid. If they don't get paid, the doctors don't get paid, the nurses don't get paid. They aren't going to have even the gas to come to work. So, I mean, there's that trickle. Hey, trickle down economics. This is finally true trickle down. To keep the first aid workers working, we all have to work too. So it's our responsibility to go to work. If we have to wear a mask to make that happen, whatever. I don't even care. It's stupid, but I don't care.
No argument here. I mean, I think people should go. If you can go to work, wear your mask if that's what you're supposed to do. But, on the other thing is, like, yes, okay, if you want to risk your life, but there's two sides to that coin. It's not just your life. It's the people you encounter. So that's why the mask is important. That's, like I said earlier, like, that for me it's 100% for other people, because I know I'm a petri dish. Like, I'm young, I still have a good immune system, but I'm not worried about getting sick and dying. I know people our age have, but that's not something I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about is somebody I encounter who absolutely had to run out and get toilet paper or whatever that is that they're doing that they absolutely had to do, that I'm putting them at risk if I don't do what I'm supposed to do.
Do you know the answer I've been given on that? per the way they've rewritten all the mandates in Ohio is, well, yeah, that's why they bring it out to your car for you, and you pop your trunk and they'll set it in there.
Is your grandma like getting on her app for Walmart and
Apparently,
curbside picking up? I'm
apparently,
just my grandma wouldn't do it. My grandma's gone, but she would never get on an app. She'd just go into Walmart. So that's why if I have to go to Walmart, I'd wear my mask.
But I'm being told that that's the thing. If you're at risk and you cannot wear a mask due to your health issues, like my son on oxygen 24/7, right? Honest God, do you think he should have to wear a mask if he's got oxygen? Because he has severely ineffective lungs.
Mm-hmm. So you're asking me if I think your son should wear a
I'm
mask?
asking you based on what you've seen. Would and wearing a mask? Do you think that could create issues for someone who has lung issues, breathing through
it would
these
be
thick masks?
Yeah, I mean, if he has to wear the mask, I mean, if he's wearing like a breathing tube or something, but I'm not saying like it's easy. It's not easy for anybody. Nobody wants. I mean, I don't want to wear a mask.
What I'm saying is, they're expecting him to go into the store to wear a mask, even though, yeah, I'm having to make that choice. But it's like, hey, I've got to take my kid with me. He has breathing issues. Keep your social distance. You're all wearing masks. Keep your distance away from him and let him be able to be a normal person, walk in the store, even without restricting his airflow. Because
well, you know that they make masks that have filters on them that pull away from your face, and with the filters, they don't restrict your airflow.
Oh, that you would think that would make sense. When I go into VA, those aren't allowed.
Really?
Yep, they don't allow them. But all elderly veterans have to wear the disposable, but these blue masks, and know how many of those are running around in oxygen because of freaking Agent Orange and shit? They're running around there having to wear masks, doing what they have to go get their health care. And you can't wear those ones.
See, that again goes back to the, let's be common sense about it. You know what I mean? Like, if it just protects you, but you need to be able to breathe better than just your typical mask, then you should be able to wear what is physically available.
Those little ports on it allow the particles to leave the mask.
Don't they have particle filters? Isn't that what those little ports are for?
Don't they have filters? Are little silicone things, so it doesn't let things in. It lets them out. So what you inhale goes through a charcoal filter. What you exhale would also go through that charcoal filter, but allow it all to escape through these little ports. But
so it doesn't filter it on the way in like it goes on the way out. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, because I have them to be able to do my job. That's what I have to use because I can't. I have problems exhaling all the carbon dioxide out of my lungs is my health issue. And in doing so, when you start restricting that airflow, you're holding even more carbon dioxide into my breathing area. So because I'm already struggling to get it out, you're now holding even a minuscule amount. I don't have a problem getting the oxygen. I have a problem getting rid of everything. So for me, that makes a world of a difference. And I'm sitting in with my pulmonologist looking like I'm about to die because I just went through their breathing test and I'm still wearing a stupid mask.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's got to be, just again, it goes back to the common sense. Like, let's let people let's be safe, but if people need a better solution than just the typical mask, like, let's figure that out. And if that means like somebody who has a breathing issue, then they need to be able to wear a mask that they can wear, that they can function in.
Well, but their answer is hide. Their answer is hide. I'm not joking. This is like the way it's been explained to me even. Hide. You can pick up site to store. They will bring the stuff out to you. Walmart, though, they have an issue where they like to put it as a pending charge, then it disappears off your credit card, comes back a week later and actually comes out. And I shit you not, when this all started, I looked and said, I don't have to deal with people. Hell yes, site to store this shit. I ain't walking through Walmart. Until they brought out freaking, my wife wanted hair bleach, right? She marked that she needed hair bleach. They brought this bright pink purple fucking hair dye and said that was fucking bleach. That was their substitute for the bleach because they couldn't find any. I literally said, "Fuck this," walked right in the store, and there's 6 things of bleach sitting on the shelf.
Wow. That's pretty terrible.
That's Walmart. But we're closed down mom and pop shops, so we can only have Walmarts.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what happens when you take quantity over quality.
Right.
Hey, back to beer. Quantity over quality.
Exactly. And you know, to spurn this into the continuation of the thing, you know, talking veterans and doctor's appointments, one of the things they've done is they've now gone where I would say we're finally getting a handle on veteran suicide, right? And you not being a veteran, you would say that would be what, a big deal or not a big deal midway for you? Where would you rate that, the veteran suicide?
Veteran suicide, like people who come home, they can't cope with regular life and they commit suicide?
Yeah.
I would rate that as a pretty high on my list of important things. I mean, but I've always felt that if you sign up to say, yeah, I'll put my life on the line for everybody else. Right. I've always felt that person should not have a like, not that they shouldn't have a care in the world, but they shouldn't have to deal with the things that they have to deal with. You know, right. You shouldn't have to worry about your job. You shouldn't have to worry about your mental health. You shouldn't have to worry about your physical health. You shouldn't have to worry about your education. You shouldn't have to worry about a lot of things that a lot of, like, I don't know if I told this to you on the last podcast when we were on the phone, but like, I'll never serve in the military. Just not going to happen. But to me, my service is paying my taxes. But you served in the military. That was your service to the country. People talk about taxation as theft. No. That, you know, I think of it like people think about their tithe. Like, that is my giving. That's how I give to my country, is I pay my taxes. You know, you gave to your country because you went overseas and you stood in my place. So for me, my tax dollars, when we get down to like how we spend our money as a country, the veterans should be taken care of. You know what I mean? So for me, like, in any situation you talk about, is veteran suicide like a problem or on a high list of priority? Fucking A.
Okay.
You stood in my place and you said, I'm going to defend that fat guy's freedom.
So, and just to show where things go, right?
Yeah.
With this, we're finally starting to, you know, because of Trump and Bernie Sanders, it became an even bigger deal nationwide on dealing with the veterans, right? The two of them brought this because other politicians, they would just dance around. Oh yeah, we care about our veterans. They're like, both of them just hammed down. Maybe even they're not even two totally different solutions. The solution is we need to do something, right? And in that one, no matter what, we're finally starting to get a handle on it. We're bringing it to light. We're showing people. I mean, you're not going to solve it in a few years, sadly. Right. You know, but you can minimize this and you can mitigate it and you can show you're trying to do something. Now with COVID, all my behavioral health issues, which is psychology, psychiatric, it's behavioral health because you can't say crazy doctor. So because for dealing with my crazy doctor, it's all online, like video conference or over the phone. Now you explain to me where that makes any sense. Like, you need hands-on with a patient to be able to make sure you couldn't tell how much I weigh right now or whether I'm eating right or, you know, anything else. Right now, my glasses cause this nice reflection off the screen. You can't see that whether my eyes are way wide or way dilated because I'm freaking smoking meth on the weekend or something, you know, whatever the fuck these guys are doing because their brains aren't right.
Right. And
because they're trying to find a solution to a problem, which is going to drive them to an even further problem. They're not getting these hands on. And they just started opening things up where you could start seeing your primary care doctor, but not your behavioral health doctor. And now the COVID's spiking, so now they're shutting that down too. So I go in, like for me in January, I go in to see pulmonary. I do another pulmonary functions test because they're trying to monitor my lungs. Right, because they're watching them do this instead of like mellowing out, right? And I go there and I do that appointment, and now instead of an hour later seeing the actual doctor to go over the results, they get to call me.
So I don't have a problem with the follow-up. The follow-up, like if I go in for my blood test and they're like, "Hey,
Right.
Mike, this is what came back on your blood test." Like I could do that on this thing. I could do it just like this. But like
Right.
the initial appointment where you come in and you look at me and you take my blood pressure, you check my temperature, like I need to be in your office.
Right.
Or the as you call it, the crazy doctor, the
Right.
behavioral health.
Yeah,
I've done
my
both.
psychiatrist, just
I've
trying
had
to
a
add some
counselor
humor to
in
it.
person, and during COVID, I tried to do like this, and there was a big difference. I
Yeah.
also had a kid who was younger than me who was my counselor, and I'm like, dude, no offense, but our life experiences are very different, and you're pretty young. Like, you're just not like relating to me.
Well,
Like, I need you to relate to me.
that was my problem with when I did college. I was older than almost all my professors. And
Yeah.
I was doing a film. I was doing film, right?
Mhm.
And I ended up in fact, I had one professor that literally said they didn't see how it benefited our country, the United States, to get involved in World War II. We should have just kind of
Oh, I thought you were talking about film, but World War II, yeah.
no, well, yeah. No. This is history of film, so it's everything leading up through the formation of the start of film up through today, right? So
Mhm.
decade by decade by decade. Well, we get to a point where we start. We don't watch Fahrenheit 9/11 because I'm in this class. So instead, we still have to watch a Michael Moore film.
Mhm.
So
So
instead,
what
we
do
watch Bowling for Columbine.
I was gonna say, what did you watch, Bowling for Columbine?
Now, you tell me. She's looking, going, okay, you're a veteran. Apparently doesn't realize I'm old enough that I remember Columbine. Doesn't have this idea. It's like we get to a Desert Storm time frame, right? And she's like, okay, so Desert Storm, Desert Shield, blah blah blah. I was like, and I was like, and she's like, yes. I said, yeah, I remember Desert Storm, Desert Shield. And she goes, how fucking old are you? I was like, well, I guess that's a good question, isn't it? I don't remember a lot about it, but my cousin went to the Desert Storm. He went to Iraq, and so I remember because I'm at my great grandma's house. This giant. And she had a governor's mansion, right? That was the housing style she had. So everybody's there in the early '90s, and I remember that being the thing. Everybody came over to see, because my cousin was coming back from Desert Storm.
Mhm.
So she's like, how fucking old are you? And it's like, well, that's a good question, isn't it? But you got your doctorate. You got your doctorate.
We were in high school when all that started.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Desert. I'm talking Desert Storm. Freaking. In 92, 91, 92. I'm remembering, and then you get the Columbine,
that
which
was
is
Desert Shield.
no. Desert Storm,
94?
Desert Shield is the Kuwait freaking Iraq in the Gulf War in the
Gotcha.
91, 92. Then it goes to Operation Iraqi Freedom,
Okay,
which switched
that's what
into
happened.
Operation New Dawn in 2003. 2002, end of '01, but didn't become a thing till 2002 was Operation Enduring Freedom, which is Afghanistan, the forgotten
Gotcha.
war, because everybody was so focused on Iraq, they forgot about that we were even in war in Afghanistan. We, in fact, stayed in war in Afghanistan longer than what we were in Iraq.
Yeah, we went to Afghanistan, was it December 01? It wasn't long after 9/11.
Yep.
We were there pretty quick. It was not long. And then, what, was it 2003 we went to Iraq?
Yep.
Yeah.
2003 into 2004 we're in Iraq. And then they changed that to Operation New Dawn in what was that, like 2011?
What? Did it change names with like the change in generals?
No.
Or just changing strategy?
We're done because Obama ended the war in Iraq. Even though we still had soldiers there, we just weren't in war. So we changed it. We're no longer at war. We're a policing an advisory force in Iraq, while we're still fighting a war in Afghanistan around that whole time frame. Even though we're still doing things in Iraq, we're still, ISIS ends up being allowed to become a thing instead of like forcing it down. And then, it turned into a hellacious issue that it became. Or, okay, as we pull out, now we got to go rushing back in to quash ISIS. It's policy. And don't get me wrong, I don't disagree with everything Obama did. Like everybody else. I don't know. Do you watch Tim Pool at all?
No, I haven't.
Watch Tim pull. It's actually fairly decent, but because he's a journalist, so he's got that journalist mindset, and he goes into like and he was a leftist or like center left, right? But his thing is Obama's problem he had with Obama was all the drone bombing, right?
Yeah, the drone policy was a very disagreeable point for a lot of people.
I loved it. You know why? I'll give you a very valid reason why.
Save lives, save soldiers' lives.
No boots on ground. No boots on ground. That fast, done and over with. What are they going to do? You're going to come attack us? No? Okay. You know, it's just like getting rid of what whoever that freaking Iranian fucking general was that Trump got rid of.
Yeah.
That everybody got mad about because, guess what? One of the worst terrorists in the world is gone. And it's not like, and tell me Obama wasn't sitting there trying to do the same thing. You know, it's just like Bush going after freaking bin Laden. We couldn't give up, even though the guy was probably, how much involved was his dialysis ass anymore? Who cares? He needs gone. I don't care who gets rid of him. They need gone. Yeah. So I'm okay with drone bombing. I give two shits less. There is the downside of collateral damage if you're not careful. Obama had the issue. I think Bush had the issue. We had the Daybala massacre in Afghanistan, where they were having a meeting and they were using a schoolhouse to do it, and there was a bunch of women and children there too, and it just horrific freaking. But there was approval through the Afghan, if I remember right, approval through the Afghan government on getting rid of it. The whole thing was just went bad. And then I was one of the guys who had come in to help the president of Afghanistan apologize to these people for having bombed the fuck out of this. So we're pulling security for this guy. This is great, right? How often you look at a convoy, right? Because you got no military experience. When you look at a convoy of cars, which vehicle would the president be in?
The middle one.
Say you've got 8 cars. Which one? There's 2 middle ones.
Either or.
They have no idea. Could be in the third one, right?
Or the first. You wouldn't put him in the first one. You wouldn't put him in the last one, right?
Yeah, but he's going to be in. Or would you? You're not going to know, right? That's my thing. You're not going to know, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Because all you see is just the vehicles, right? All you see is just vehicles. I shit you not, they're standing around this car, walking with it to escort the car after he gets into it out of the helicopter. All the Afghan police and soldiers that are escorting him, walking around the center vehicle. You know which car he's in. I'm like, you guys are dumb. Like, why are you walking around the car? Like, I know which car he's in. I didn't even see him get in, and I know which one he's in.
Right.
And you're only going about 4 football fields. Like, you could be a little less obvious.
Right.
Yeah. So just absolute priceless. We had to drive out there, and they fly in so they can come apologize. Humor for like an American general. We had one that was 4-star in charge of Afghanistan at the time. Flew into the governor's palace so that he could come talk to him, whatever, right? He trusted the Afghans, blah, 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 right? We had snipers up in the towers, just make sure that nothing bad happens. You're at the governor's mansion, so you've got the governor, somebody of rather importance, right? And then the 4-star general in charge of the whole country coming in with all his advisors and whatnot for a meeting. Our general didn't want to see American security anywhere. We had to hide behind our vehicles every time he came outside. We're inside the compound pulling security. We had to hide so he couldn't see us because it showed distrust towards the Afghans, and we trusted them. It's like, with your life? No, I think not, buddy. We got snipers up there. You don't even realize it. You know, we got people up there with long rifles waiting for something to happen. Like, we know where you're walking every second.
Mm-hmm.
Literally had to hide. Every time he stepped outside, we had to go hide.
What was your role over there?
At which point? That would be
okay. So let's just. Which roles did you hold?
So in my first deployment, our battalion were landowners, right? So we handled an area of land, right? So
Okay.
as a battalion, you're looking 4 or 5 freaking companies all handling an area, right? And
So we're talking like 500 people, probably somewhere in that area.
there's like 4,000 people in a brigade, and you got like 4 battalions, so 4 or 5 battalions. So you're looking anywhere between 500 to 1,000. Let's put it this way: a squad is 43 people, because you got your lieutenant, your platoon sergeant, and then you got 12-man squads, 3 12-man squads in the MP world. In the infantry world, you've got four squads rather than 3, but they do smaller teams. Whereas,
I guess I'm just basing it off of Hollywood and what I like, Band of Brothers, and like the size of their squads and companies and
right.
Yeah. So I guess I don't really know realistically what we're talking about.
And it depends on if you're looking at infantry or if you're looking at, like me, I was military police. So we do 3-man teams, right? So, but we only have three squads in our platoon. Take out your platoon sergeant and your platoon leader. They did eliminate them from this count. So you drop that down to 40. So you got 12 people in each team, or in each squad, right?
Gotcha.
Okay. And then you take that and you actually look and go, because then you have to count, and you'll have a medic and everything else, which just kind of rotates around in that platoon. So we would have
you could have been a medic at one point.
No. We have actual like medic trained. I'm combat lifesaver trained. I can give IVs. I'm from the time frame when we actually would train all the soldiers to give IVs, right?
Oh, okay.
But we have an actual like official medic, like trained medic,
Gotcha.
done time in an ER and things like that. People that have some experience, below a nurse, because they don't have college, but trained almost better than a nurse, because they're used to dealing with people bleeding all the time. Like your perfect EMT with like crazy freaking like ghetto hood shooting fucking people experience EMT.
Okay.
That's why we've improved the tourniquet because of the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. The tourniquet used to be like, try to use your belt or whatever. Now we got these like amazing cat tourniquets that are built that just, they're you'd have to look up some of these, and we've already ruled that out and improved on that. So much of that technology we've come up on the fly, where we look and go, fuck this doesn't work. We can do something better. And some medic designs it, and then whatever, and we've started bringing that to the U.S. But then, so we've got a driver. You have your driver, your team leader, and your gunner in the MP world. So you got 3 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're running it. You got the squad leaders team, an Alpha, Bravo, and a Charlie, right? Because you can break it down like that. The way the infantry works, the squad leader doesn't have his own team. So they've got 4-man teams instead of 3-man teams, because you take those 2 and you merge them over.
Oh, okay.
So it starts becoming weird, and then they do like less teams. They've got like 4 squads instead of 3 squads, but it's all in how you play those numbers. But you still have got a squad is roughly, or a platoon in general is roughly about 43 people, because you get a lieutenant and a sergeant first class E7.
Gotcha.
That's your platoon sergeant. So. You get into the Marines, they do things even more fucking weird, and so that's where it starts getting a little weird. But so like my first deployment, we're landowners as a battalion, and so we've got like our combat engineer company is out doing route clearance in a couple different areas. One of those being Asadabad, which you've heard of Restrepo.
I think so.
Restrepo is like the most volatile place in all of Afghanistan. We don't even have it anymore. Made a documentary on it. And then they had the sequel, Korengal. Not allowed to watch it. I had a professor try looking and saying, okay, well, you can't watch films on campus. Let's have you watch this, because he really wanted my input on it, which was neat, because he's very pro-veteran. And my wife turned the damn thing off. And it was like, you are not watching this, because I don't even know. I guess I'm zoned out, not blinking, like I don't know what the fuck. I just know I'm like, okay, I've seen it once before, and I'm watching this thing, but it's live footage of people die in this film. Like I had a buddy who knew one of the guys, and that's how he found out the guy died.
Oh wow! So
You
he
know,
didn't
it
even know the
just
guy was gone until he saw the movie.
yeah, yeah. So, but which is a shitty way to find out. Of course, we're drinking when we see it too. So, but this is early on into my career, so I'm not quite seen as much as what I saw come the end of my career.
Yeah.
So we're landowners. We in that deployment we'd train Afghan police, so we'd go to every district because districts would have you'd have it's almost like it's not quite set up like cities because some like the big main cities, kind of like New York, you've got more than one police department. I bet Orlando would probably have the same. You have districts, little precincts, multiple precincts in the larger cities.
Oh, we've got just the different cities. So you have Orlando, which Orlando proper isn't even that big. I think it's a couple 100,000 people. But then you've got, Winter Park, you got Kissimmee, you've got Sanford, you got all these other little towns that are just clumped together around Orlando. So it's one giant area.
Orlando. Kind of like Detroit or Cleveland or whatever. But like
most major cities, I think Cleveland is one of the few where like they've annexed all their little cities.
Right.
Or not Cleveland, Columbus has annexed all its little cities.
I call them all Columbus. And then there's subdivisioned out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think they didn't start that way, but then they annexed them all. So now they're all technically Columbus, even though you live in Dublin or you live in wherever. But yeah. But yeah. I know what you're saying. So you work with the individual.
Yeah, so there's the little districts, and then there's there'll be a district that holds like multiple little villages because they're small villages. So like more like your sheriff's department, right?
Sure.
Just for a way of understanding. So you've got all this. So we'd go to each one of those. Do you need help? Do you need learning? Are you lacking equipment? What do we need to help you with? Now, if you saw your police officers running around the way we had, like I said, if I had a wired connection, I'd pull up some videos or some pictures. I could just Google them even. Their police officers are rolling around with RPGs, with AK-47s, and only the officers of the police department have pistols. What would you do if you saw that around freaking the U.S.? Rolling around in the back of Ford Rangers with freaking mounted machine guns, fully automatic machine guns mounted to the above the cab of the truck.
Yeah, it'd be pretty scary.
That's what they have to do to survive as police officers. Right.
Yeah.
So we're running around here, defund the police, and we have horrible police, blah, blah, blah. These police officers are being like, we ever think our cops are getting targeted. Their police officers can't even safely go home.
Yeah.
My second deployment, we had our police chief. He needed replaced because there's always some corruption, right? He needed replaced, but not this way. And he's driving. Hey, this is a large, heavy set dude. Like would take up my whole couch, right? Like large, heavy set dude. I'm exaggerating just a little bit, but I mean he's a bigger guy. And they're driving. He's got his driver's driving, which was a real cool guy. His driver was really cool guy to work with. And they're driving back because he went home for a vacation for a couple days and come back because they don't work anywhere near home. Right. So they're like working like an hour's drive away and they live in their police district and then they would go home on vacation. That way it's safer for them. Right. And coming back to work, he gets the whole side of his car gets lit up like the Godfather, fucking driving down the road. Just, instead of parking that car, just lit the hell up. So the opposite of a drive-by, like they're lined up waiting for him. Well, this dude ends up getting his driver's dead. He ends up driving himself the rest of the way. His son did get to see him in the hospital where he then passed. But this dude just demolished because he's a police officer, because he's the police chief, because he's working with the Americans. That's what scares me about pulling out of these wars. So like AOC, it's great to say pull out of the war. Blah blah blah. Even like Tim Pool, let's leave. Even and everybody's saying like Dan Crenshaw is freaking horrible for saying war. Even Tulsi Gabbard. If I had to vote for a Democrat, she was my. Do what?
Weren't they both there? Gabbard and Crenshaw?
Two different
Isn't that-
styles of job.
Isn't that how Crenshaw lost his eye?
Yep. He lost
Yeah.
his eye in service as a Navy SEAL. And so
Yeah.
that's what I say, two different natures of job. If you're not in the certain aspect, you're not going to see these dire
Well,
situations.
isn't that why we're still there? Isn't that why we're still there? Because there's just no scenario that we can pull out safely and correctly.
For us or them.
I mean,
For
because Obama was going to do it. Like, that's what he ran on. And then, like, he actually got in there and because I listened to a little bit of his book on our trip up to Michigan, and he was talking about how he really wanted to get us out of these wars. And when he got there and he found out, like, the generals told him, like, there is no way we can pull out and not undo all the work we've done in the last, however many years, 4 years, 5 years since, we came in here.
The problem is we support like 90% of their economy. They don't tax people, right? There's no tax. How do you tax it'd be like trying to tax the Amish. How much money do they make? I have no idea. They sell to random people in cash, right? Now imagine a whole country like that.
Where their economy is
they haggle. There's no set pricing. They literally barter. Like like these things are a thing. Like you go in and they're like $20. And it's like no, yeah, $10. And they're like no, my friend, for you, good price, $15. I'll give you 11. Okay, you're the first sale of the day. It's important to make that first sale that day. So I mean, we funnel so much money into their economy. They're not taxing these people. So what happens then? But that being the side note, and I'm not for staying there forever either. Are they our country? No. Are we going to make them part of our country, like Puerto Rico and whatnot? No. Well, then fuck them. But there's some good people that we need to help get out of there, like our interpreters, that their lives were at risk. There's some of them you can trust, some of them you can't. These people worked with us and put their lives at risk because they're working with us. We need to pay them back, and not just go, we paid you. You got money. Well, good for them. But, so anyways, so I'd go district center to district center working with these Afghan police officers. And then we'd also be quick reaction force, where we'd go from, if somebody got blown up, somebody's getting shot at, we'd rush out to go help them. At the same time, we'd use this as a taxi service to run like important people across the street to the other fob so that they could go actually grocery shop is really what they were doing. To get their cigarettes or whatever. Forward operating base.
Okay.
So like the big major bases. And then there's cops, which are combat outposts, which usually have like a company in them. And a company being like, you're looking like 200 people.
Gotcha.
300 people. Right. So, and then you would, so what you have happen then is we do that. And like it comes 72 hours, I stopped counting how many hours straight we'd been up and no sleep. About 72 hours, we stopped.
But so you were MP the whole time?
Yes.
Gotcha. Is that one of those, they say you're an MP and that's it?
Yeah. Yeah. Once.
Losing your hair.
We've that were in Hawaii. Their whole thing, to them, right? The guys.
Can you hear me?
You're dumb.
I got no.
Yeah. And then they're going to and I
can't hear you. You're coming in like a distortion pedal.
I had a distortion pedal would make it fun. We're both doing this little in and out thing. But no, so like what you do is you go to the bar and I'd be drinking and I'd tell you, oh, hey, hey, let me buy you drinks. Oh, what's your job? Oh, dude, that's awesome. And I get you to try to get you to give me or sell me information.
Okay, so you would do that
if I had changed to this other job that I was looking at.
Oh, okay.
So
sorry.
that's
You were
what I
just
was processing up, and then
getting a syllable.
yeah, and then it was time to leave the army. So I didn't change jobs because they put me up for medical retirement, and then they said I was fit for duty, but left me with a medical profile which says, these are your limitations, and those limitations said you're not eligible for any job in the army.
And was that because of the burn pits, or was this pre-burn
No,
pit?
This is because I got hit by a suicide bomber at 10 feet.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah. So half his vest went off. I've got all original parts. Everything here's me, but I did screw with the cranial capacity.
Gotcha.
So and being able to cope with that experience, because the guy, those famous words that everybody says they all make, the guy said it. He's like, Allah Akbar. And now I'm probably flagged on YouTube, but I don't care. It's a true story. He said it as he body checked me from down an alleyway in the middle of a bazaar, like a village of just shops, right? Like Indiana Jones, swinging the swords bazaar thing, right? So they come out, just no swords, but but just example of that, those mud brick buildings and all that, and it comes out, body checks me, and yells Allah Akbar, and then goes running off. And I was like, the fuck did he just say? And I see he drop something, and it was a pin. And I was like, he dropped a pin. I'm the RTO, so I got the giant 6-foot antenna hanging off me. It's folded down to like 3 foot, but it's hanging off above me. So I'm a target, right? I'm just a walking target.
Mm-hmm.
And so, his intention was that to go off. Well, I said, stop. Just everybody stop. He dropped a pin. He dropped a pin. They're like, Jaggers, who gives a fuck if he dropped a pen? No, he dropped a fucking pin, because I'm not registering everything to say, hey, I think he's got a grenade. Like, I'm just not registering. It's an instant,
right.
One first thing that comes to mind is what gets said. And next thing I know, he's coming back. And as he comes back, you're required to say stop 3 times. Doesn't matter how fast you say it, but you have to say it 3 times. Well, for line of fire, he has to take one more step. If he doesn't take one more step, my round would go through him into another soldier behind him. So I have to have him take that one last step. Right. My squad leader, I don't know what's in his line of fire, but I know I have to have one last step. So he's got weapon up, and we're both yelling, stop, stop. There's a few other people. These are just the only people I can recall everybody doing, because everybody else is on the other side. There's only like 3 or 4 of us back here. Interpreter, who gives a fuck what he's doing? That, no offense to him, the guy was a garbage person anyways. But and he took a little shrapnel, and he needed, he took a few ball bearings right up here, and nothing deep, and he took like a month off of work because he could. Of course, he's probably getting paid the whole time. But so the guy that goes to take what would have been that one more step. And did you ever see? Have you seen Act of Valor? The movie Act of Valor, that Navy SEAL movie they did with the Navy SEAL training.
No, I don't think so. I think the only Navy SEAL training one I saw was the one about Kyle. What's his name?
Chris Kyle.
Chris Kyle. Yeah, sorry.
I haven't seen American Sniper, but no. Act of Valor though, that came out in 2011, 2012 time.
That's not the Mark Wahlberg run, right? No, that's Lone Survivor.
No, Mark Wahlberg. That one's a whole different one. That's Lone Survivor. That's Marcus Luttrell, and that dude's a badass.
Yeah.
No.
I don't care what he talked to the RNC 4 years ago. I'm like, I don't care what I think about Trump. I'm going to listen to this guy.
Yeah.
Like this guy, I saw that movie. I'm like, whenever that man steps up to a microphone, I want to listen.
Well, the best part is the movie isn't even. There's inaccuracies in the movie.
Sure.
His actual book story is there. There's some differences there that he was even more fucked than what it seems. So he's
mad that you're swearing.
What?
I just heard someone go, "God damn it!"
Yeah, my wife's playing the PlayStation. And
Oh, I thought she was yelling at me, swearing.
No. She's about to throw the controller through the television. So
I gotcha.
But no. So but anyways, in Act of Valor, they have a suicide bomber or whatever it was go off, and they're in this like a little like indoor courtyard thing or whatever you want to say, like balcony thing, and you see like pitch black and bright white at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the best description I've got is when you see that in Act of Valor, that's what I saw. To the best my mind can give you an answer of seeing both pitch black and bright white at the same time. Like I said, it doesn't make any sense, and the best video like concept of it for your brain registering is what they do in that movie. And the next thing I know, I'm crouched over, and as I'm crouched over, I start radioing up, and then we run into I getting yelled at for improper radio etiquette, and all these other things. So and how dare we misreport? Well, we found more casualties as we went. We're not going to go, okay, we go, okay, we've got these ones. Turns out I'm a casualty. I didn't know when I radioed up the first casualties. Who would have known? I've got like the chin strap shattered off the side of my face. I'm the closest guy to this thing. And freaking, I take some ball bearings to my arm and miss my plate carrier because they put me in a small and I'm tall as fuck, right? I may be skinny, but I'm tall as fuck. So all that weight just pulls down, and I take ball bearings, miss my vest, and I take him straight over my breastplate, right over the aorta. So now the medic's worried. Once he realizes I'm injured, maybe I fractured my hairline fracture or anything in my aorta, because if you get that, by one MRI machine in the whole country, by the time you get there, you've bled out. So that's his concern. My squad leader doesn't even care, violates rules because our recovery truck gets stuck to be able to rush me and anybody else injured off to the fob, which is only like a kilometer away, right? It's only it's about a click and a half away, and we load up in the Afghan.
Is a kilometer a click?
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard the term click before, and I didn't know exactly.
Yeah,
it's a kilometer. Okay.
Yep. Click is just short for kilometer, because for whatever reason we use kilometers for everything in the military. Meters.
We probably should use the metric system.
We're in, like the Marine Corps, when they go to qualify, they use yards.
Swap it out.
Which is a damn meter anyway, so I don't know what the fuck the issue is.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so that's where that line comes, and that so my squad leader has us loaded up in the Afghan vehicle to go, the Afghani police vehicle to go back to the cop. I get there, and I'm laying there on the stretcher. They start freaking out. I have shock. We have these combat shirts on, right? So we don't have the blouse that zips up and all that, right? With your undershirt. It's just one shirt, moisture wicking in places and whatnot, right? Camouflage down, and down to about here, it gets tight because I'm in smaller clothes than everybody else because I'm scrawny, right? So I can't get it over my watch without taking my watch off. And they tell me, well, take your shirt off, and because they're trying to inspect my chest and everything. And I go to take my watch off. They start freaking out that I'm in shock because I'm trying to take my watch off. I was like, I can't take my shirt off without taking my fucking watch off. Like, it won't go over it.
Right.
Oh, he's in shock. Oh, fuck it. Leave me the fuck alone. I've got the prescription sunglasses, so I can't wear those because I'm in the first aid tent, right? Or the building, whatever. So I can't wear them because I can't see anything. And the next thing I know, I find out they knew that there was a suicide bomber in the area because one had already blown up in Host City. The K is silent, so it's KHOST, Host. So in Host City, it took out their brigadier general for the police force, right? So their concept of a commandant, took him out. So they knew there was one in our area. I'm the RTO, so I would have known. They never radioed us to tell us, so now I'm getting pissed, right? Like, we could have been looking out for this specifically, and been a little less trustful of people. but no, you didn't tell us. So I'm getting pissed, and I'm laying there, and I can't see because my vision's 20/500. So I can't read the name tape on somebody's shirt, even like as close as I am to my computer right now, without corrective vision, right? So
Sure.
What the 20/500? I don't know if prescription. That means that at 20/20 being perfect, 20 feet looks like 20 feet.
Right.
20 feet looks like 500 feet. I think that's
Okay.
the best way to explain it. So you're way the fuck out there, right? So I can't see anything. And next thing I know, I've got some guy laying over me as I'm just laying there getting more and more pissed. And he's like, "Hold on, there's a cuckoo clock." That's how crazy this thing thinks I am. Because this is the dumbest thing I ever could have done, and not even had a chance to realize it. So, and I'm laying there, and this guy's standing over me, and I don't know who he is, and he walks up and he goes, "How you doing, soldier?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. I'm pretty fucking pissed off. I can't see a fucking thing. My chest fucking hurts. I don't know who the fuck is talking to me right now, but Jesus Christ, will you people leave me alone?" "Well, I'm your brigade, or I'm your battalion commander. You get better, soldier." I'm like, "Oh, fuck. Well, there goes my career." No, he just obviously realized that, left it alone at that. But yeah, he's like, "I'm your battalion commander." And I wanted to be like, actually, only because I'm assigned to you, my battalion commander is probably going to be hearing about this because I actually belong to somebody else. I'm just working with your people. So yeah,
I gotcha.
and that's where I rattled my skull a little bit. Your brain can only handle so much. I thought I was okay, and my squad leader came to me, and he's like, a week later, and he's like, "Hey, Jaggers." I was like, "Yeah, what's up, Sergeant?" And he's like, "So, you think you need to go to Salerno?" I was like, "Well, for what?" He goes, "To go see the behavioral health. You haven't." And he's trying to make it my option, like my choice. He's like, "You're not performing to the ability of your expectations. You're not doing your job where we know you should be." And so I think this has affected you. He's trying to be a little more polite about it, but what he's getting down to is, you're not doing your fucking job right because your head's fucked up, and we need to send you, but I want you to voluntarily do it because it'll be easier if you just choose to do this.
Gotcha.
So I was like, okay. And then I end up about a month, I'm not allowed to work. And I'm just sitting there, they want to send me home. I'm fighting to stay there. And they're also like, is it safe to send him home right now? And so I got to stay there. And so I found out, you know what Beck's and O'Doul's is, right? Like you're near.
Yeah, non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah. So I did. Me and my buddy Nick, who's supposed to be on this show but isn't, because he broke his back falling off a 5-foot wall because those hard plates in the back of his vest. When he fell, he landed on him with about a 40-pound pack on his back, and it just slammed that plate into his spine. So he's not allowed to walk for more than a mile a day. Right. Once they finally unstrap him from the gurney, because they're trying to let his back heal, they don't want to send him back to the States or even into Germany, because what is that trauma going to do of the flight to his spinal cord? There's risk involved. So we're both not allowed to work. He tries teaching me cards, realizes, don't ever teach me cards. I will fight with you all day that Texas Hold'em, though, is not real poker. Because look, half your cards are on the table. You're not really bluffing if I can see half your cards. I literally have no idea what's in my hand because I don't comprehend cards. This is pre-scrambling my head, but I really just cannot comprehend cards. So I look and go, okay, I'm just going to assume that my hand is either good or sucks. I have no idea. A king's good, right? I've got one of them, and I got one of these 3 things. Well, we can make that work. Turns out they have nothing to do with each other because they're red and black, and I guess that doesn't mesh. I thought we were supposed to be, a cohesive melting pot, and everything was supposed to be good, and but no, apparently in poker, black and red, they're 2 different things, and you can't mix them. But I have no idea what the fuck I have, so I'll bluff you to no fucking end. I won like $80 on penny poker. So, but I tried drinking O'Doul's, circling back to beer, and this is how I know our conversation, not just hitting 10:04 and seeing you yawn, is coming to a close, because we've circled back to the start, right? And the start is beer. And that's me and Nick bought a case of freaking Beck and O'Doul's. We're talking like your 24-pack case to see
Okay.
if we could get drunk, because it's actually 0.05% alcohol. So there's
Yeah.
just a little bit enough to say there is. How many of these do I have to drink before I get a buzz?
Mm-hmm.
You'll puke first.
Yeah, probably.
You will puke first. Guaranteed you're going to puke first. So instead, I fed my addiction with green beans coffee. They sold chocolate smoothies. So
Okay.
I would drink these chocolate smoothies. I probably gave green beans like $1,000 in a month on these chocolate fucking smoothies.
Yeah.
So circled back to beer, and that's that. I wish we had some other people on because maybe you wouldn't be getting yawny.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Been up all day.
Oh,
But
I know the feeling. My kids aren't here today, which helps. So I actually they went to grandma and grandpa's. Don't I hopefully you enjoyed being on
yeah,
today.
I really appreciate you sharing. I feel like last time you shared some stuff too, but I really appreciate you sharing your story and about your service and how you got hurt.
That's where I try to be different than I don't blame the Vietnam veterans. I don't. They came back to hell. Your World War II vets, they had some cool down time, but none of them were in a 20-year long war. We're about to hit. We're coming just shy of 20 years, 19 years at war. And when I went to college, I found out a lot of kids don't remember not being at war. I went with the last group that we have kids in the Army now that weren't alive during September 11th.
Yeah, that's true.
Insane. That's how long we've been at this, and if we don't talk about these things, we can't make them better.
Right.
And the solution used to be go to the VFW and you talk to everybody else who understands, because they've been there, and there's don't get me wrong, there's things you don't share because they're just not good for anybody else to hear, or you don't want to resurface it. But
it's not like we can understand.
There's the more gruesome things that you run across that you just don't want to talk about. I did it so you didn't have to. I did it so you didn't have to see it. I don't want
never thank you enough.
Oh no! You're quite welcome. It paid the bills. I enjoyed every minute of it.
That might make you a little crazy. No.
Well, actually, I did enjoy my job. I enjoyed and being deployed. I did really well because I didn't have to deal with family drama. Life made sense, but that was then. And at the same time, like, my son wouldn't be alive if I hadn't gone active duty, and he'd been born in Scott and White Hospital with a amazing Class 1 NICU. And in that amazing Class 1 NICU, they saved his life. So he would never have been born in Texas. So he wouldn't be here today if I hadn't done these things. And the first month was a $500,000 medical bill for 1 month. And he spent 3.5 months in the NICU. And that was just to come home, not everything after that. He had two nurses by his side 24/7 for the first 2 months.
Where in Texas is that?
Temple.
Okay.
So just outside of Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah, because my youngest brother spent 4 months in a NICU in Dallas when he was born. Yeah, but Medical City, I think is what they called it. It wasn't the same hospital, but yeah. So, but
and then we have my wife calling me out. Apparently, I speak foreign languages in my sleep too, so it's fine. I don't know what she's talking about because I don't know. At the time, I knew enough to maybe get by, kinda, and that I don't remember most of it. But so whatever. But no, we circled around. I don't mind talking about the things within reason, and I'm never afraid to. With me, don't be afraid to ask a question, because what's the worst that happens? I go, that, or I might start telling a story. Go, I've hit non-disclosure agreements. Like, where, hey, this is a good story. Stop. It's why I'm one of the people. I think I don't have as much of a problem with like Julian Assange, whereas like Edward Snowden. My issue with Edward Snowden is you sign non-disclosure agreements. If you go to court and they find you innocent, good for you. If you get out in a court of law, but face the piper. It's just like, if you do a crime because it's for the better good in your mind, then you should be prepared to face whatever the results of that are, because you did the right thing. If you feel it's right,
agree with you.
face it.
Yeah.
Until then, it's a treasonous act because you violated non-disclosure agreements until the court system finds you innocent. And if you have to appeal all the way up to the Supreme Court, do it. If that's your right. Yeah. But you chose to sign agreements to do a job, and in doing so, you violated those agreements that you made a pact with our country. I would expect the same thing out of me. The same thing I expect out of Hillary Clinton. The same thing I expected out of Obama. The same thing I expected out of George H.W. Bush. When they say that, now the president can declassify things. That's why I hold Obama, H.W. Bush, all them in a different light than what I did like Hillary, because if she releases things in a unsecure way, she should be held responsible. And I think none of the politicians are. And that's my problem. We're going after Snowden, Assange, all them, but we're not holding our own politicians accountable when they violate their due diligence.
Well, on the Hillary thing, and I don't like Hillary. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like Hillary. On the Hillary thing, they found zero evidence that there was anything actually bad that she violated. She did use the server, but nothing.
Which is illegal as shit.
Right. If she had shared classified information, she would have been in trouble. But like, of all the stuff they found, her using that, it was nothing that was technically classified. Again, I don't like Hillary. I'm glad she wasn't the president.
Well, right. With her, it was actually later down classified, right? But there's still FOIO, which is for official use only, which that FOIO, right, on anything means it can't go. FOIO means for official use only. FOUO, FOIO, right?
But as far as I understand, the FBI, it took them, I want to say until the midterms back in 2018, and they finally, it was like a third-page news article where they said there was nothing illegal that Hillary had done. But it took them a long time to figure it out, and it caused a lot of bad press. But
there was also the concept with it where it's, well, she didn't intend to. Well, intention doesn't matter. Like in the law, intention doesn't matter. You didn't intend to speed when you were speeding and got a ticket. You're still responsible for it.
Right.
And FOIO means,
and not even intention. Right. Nothing she actually did with that email constituted an illegal act. But it still was this.
Except for if it says FOIO, for official use only, on anything. Yeah. It cannot go on a unofficial. You have NIPR and SIPR lines. Secure internet, whatever SIPR stands for. It's the secured network, and NIPR is the unsecured network, right? But you still can't go from a NIPR to a downgraded, like, civilian class server system, right?
But as I understand it, they never found anything that they could charge her with. They never found anything that was criminally liable.
That they were willing to take her to court for, right? Just because you, as a prosecutor, just because you can get something doesn't mean you will get something. And what's the outstanding repercussions of doing it? But if it was me and I had anything that was official, right, for official use only, unclassified, no classification things can still say FOIO on it because it's official, right? Anything with the proper letterhead, FOIO, right, for official use only, which means, say, internally we own a business, like, because you are an accountant, right? And I send you something official use only. That means you can't share it with your wife. It's official, right? Because you're showing my tax returns or my tax whatever, my financial, for official use only. I could sue you if you shared that with somebody, right? Because you're violating for official use only. Because we're in a contract. Well, the government is a giant contract, and a for official use only means that. So anything that would have had for official use only, even though it got down classified, technically can't be shared in that server like that. And it starts getting finicky because it has to be available for public release, and then the FOIO doesn't matter. That there's all these things, right? But what I'm saying is, they're looking and saying, hey, she did nothing, but she didn't use any state server email, right, for anything. That's where the issue comes. So, my thing was never, did Hillary violate the law? Obviously, she illegally used a server that she shouldn't have used. Let's ignore that part, right? Let's stop there. Not her fault if her boss emails her on that server. That means he knows she has that server if he's using that email. You're telling me Obama never emailed her for that?
I don't know.
We wonder why the FBI didn't target, because he never emailed his Secretary of State. Horseshit.
Yeah.
Just saying, this went way more than just Hillary Clinton using it, which means as the FBI, I would go, let's not touch this. Let's leave this one alone. This is going to be really bad. Let's just make it so it never happens again. And which is what you do in the government, right or wrong. It's what you do.
Yeah.
Like, how do you put Hillary Clinton in jail? Even Trump, once he got in office, is like, I can't touch her.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, I mean, not that he didn't, throw out all his rhetoric about it and his propaganda.
No, that's
to lock her up.
Yeah. That's politics, though. Orange man bad. That's politics. I mean, whatever you want to say, it's still politics, which is literally there. Look at Ted Cruz and Donald Trump during the primaries. Now look at Ted Cruz and Donald Trump, President Trump.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When you're running for office,
Ted Cruz he offered to go make arguments at the Supreme Court for Donald Trump's attempt to claim all this fraud that I think almost 90 cases have been thrown out with zero evidence of this mass fraud. I mean, you and I talked about this. Yes, there are small pockets of voter fraud, but the wide-scale voter fraud is just not there, and he's lost every single case he's taken to court. And Ted Cruz said he'd make arguments for it. So, I mean, that just tells you who Ted Cruz is.
Well, a lot of what he's taken to court hasn't actually been completely gone through yet. The ones kicked out are ones everybody else is taking to court that actually would benefit him, so the news is spinning it that it's for him. The one in Pennsylvania was not pushed by him. He did say, I support the concept. It was actually by a Republican lawmaker who was getting fucked because they illegally violated their Supreme Court goes, what are we supposed to do? Throw all these votes out? We can't do that. What hell would rain down, even though you're right. They fucked up. We can't do anything about it. That's where you run into that wasn't from Trump. It was actually a Republican lawmaker of Pennsylvania.
I understand, but you see where Ted Cruz is at is that all these other cases have been thrown out, but he's still willing to just shackle himself to Trump on these claims that they can't back up.
Ted Cruz also fought the Bush v. Gore, though, too.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz has experience with this. Ted Cruz, out of any of it, that's the guy you should go, I need to pay attention, because if he says it, there's a case here, because Ted Cruz has argued and won many times in front of the Supreme Court. Now, whether they'll accept it out of or ignore it out of fear instead of letting it go to court, because I think you would agree with me. If you've got a case, if you feel you have a case, you should be able to bring it before the court and then make a ruling one way or the other. But whether you think there's fraud or not, you think you've got proof of fraud, I want to see it, because if there's any form of it that's real, we need to stop it. At least stop it for next time.
Sure. No, I agree with you.
And I think the problem is the Democrats are looking and going, oh, it's a conspiracy. Oh, it's this. Instead of going, okay, show us the proof. Let's take it to court.
From the ones that I've seen, that's the conversation, is show us the proof. And every time they've come up with nothing. They've come up with things that, are just not proof of conspiracy or proof of fraud. And that's why they've lost every court case that they've brought before the court.
Well, the problem is you can't say when you go to the court, you can't say, here is proof of fraud. You have to say this is a discrepancy. The court rules that it is fraud or not fraud. So that's why you're not seeing them go to the court going, proof of fraud. They're going, this is a discrepancy. What do you think, Your Honor? And the judge goes, I don't want my house burnt down by either one of you. Let's not see this case, because it's not one side or the other.
And that's not all the time. There are definitely instances where the judge says, okay, present your case, and they can't, because they cannot lie to a judge. It's illegal for the attorneys to go in there and lie to a judge, so they just have to be quiet. but the only reason that they're there is for the politics. You know, I mean, all of this is from the day of election. From the day of election, and all the fraud talk is just the politics. It's 100% the politics.
The problem is we're used to one, the media decides, right? The media says, oh, hey, this is what it is. And then there's a concession. Two, we're used to a concession.
The media doesn't decide. The media reports what's reported to them. The media doesn't make a decision.
No. The media, no, because look how long.
They'll call the election based on what's provided information to them from the electors from the different states. No, they don't call the election.
Every media company calls it a different time. And then when there's a consensus, because they're all scared. Look at Hillary versus Trump and look at Trump versus Biden. Mm-hmm. They're scared to call that last state because they're like, especially in Hillary. Oh, my wife and I were up all night because I was doing the college thing and I didn't have school the next day. We were up all night comparing Google to Fox News to CNN. Like we had 4 different computer screens going, comparing these out, and we're sitting there like, when are you?
Well, they don't make determinations until they get information. Until they don't make a determination until it's mathematically impossible for the other person to win. That's when they make a determination.
My problem is when one news company calls, let's say, Wisconsin, and another one calls Michigan, but that first one won't call Michigan, and that second one won't call Wisconsin because they don't want to be the first one, but they don't want to be the last one to call, especially when Trump was running against Hillary because it wasn't making sense to him at all. And then when you look at like the Biden-Trump, they're used to and we didn't get it with Hillary either. We're used to people. One, the news media goes, oh, this is it. And then that's when they come out and they go, well, we concede. So one, we're used to the media calling it, right, as a populace, right? Mm-hmm. That we're not talking just you and me who understand things more rapidly, that this is a nuanced system, right?
Right.
So one, people are used to whatever the news media says is what it is because they don't care. Right.
Well, nobody goes and checks the local board of election sites to see, like, okay, so let's check every single county in the state of Arizona. They just rely on their
channel. Let's be real. Half of them are only watching one news channel. Let's be real. But so they're used to the news media calling it. And then
I'm flipping between MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News to see what everybody's calling. And you're right. There were some stations that were, I think it was Arizona, that they weren't calling, and some people were. And it was just based on how they figured, like mathematically, was it impossible for the other person to win? And CNN called, I think it was either Nevada or Arizona that they called, and MSNBC wouldn't call it because their mathematician said, no, it's mathematically impossible for Trump to win it. And then MSNBC was more conservative about it. And then I think Fox News followed CNN even before MSNBC.
Well, the guy at the Fox News desk actually used to work, if I remember right, he actually had ties. His prior job was actually with the Democrat Party. So they were saying there is the theory, these are theories, right, that sways his decision making in some of these earlier calls than what normally would have been held off by Fox News as a whole, right?
Yeah.
So Fox News would have leaned a little more conservative, like, oh, let's wait and see. Nope, we're calling it. And it's like, are you? There's still a shit ton of votes left to come in. Like, how are you? Like, I've never understood California gets called within a minute of the close of their polls. California's already called blue.
Mm-hmm.
It never makes sense to me.
Yeah, it just depends on when they count their votes, and because every state's different. Like some states they'll count their.
California's 99% of the way going blue, so they just call it as a news media. And that's why I say we're used to the.
I think it's more than that. They as far as I understand, the news medias don't call anything until they get results from the county elector's office. Like they don't actually make any determinations other than the fact that they add it up and they say, okay, it doesn't make sense mathematically that they're going to be able to win or lose.
Right. Now, if you notice, they don't call like the governor races in California. They don't call like the governor race. They don't call that all the local, the smaller races. It's only the presidential they call rapidly because they know the mass number of people in the major cities. Now, like you said, there's some reporting coming a little sooner, but within a minute of closing, California is always called. The last 2 years or 2 elections, presidential, that I've paid close attention to, called like that. right? It's a humorous thing. That's why I say we're used to the news media calling,
And
and
it
we're
comes
also
down to, like,
used to
how they
concession.
count their votes too. You know, I mean, what was it? Pennsylvania couldn't even count their mail-in votes for like till the next day, but some places they could count their mail-in votes as soon as they get them. You know, so if you've been counting your mail-in votes for 3 weeks and you know that you've got 500,000 voters, let's just for or a million voters. Let's say you got a million voters and you've got 600,000 mail-in votes for Joe Biden. You know that there's no way Trump's going to win. You know what I mean? He's won 60% of the vote. There's no way Trump's going to win. So they can call it right away because they already have the numbers. You know,
I
but
would
if
also,
you can't
though, at the same time, in general, like well, to finish the statement. One, we're used to the media calling, the making a call, right? Okay, we'll play finesse with words because
everyday citizens rely on the news media to tell them who the president is. I'll agree with you on that.
So we're used to the media calling post-election. We're used to the media calling. We're used to a concession within 24 hours. Other than the Gore Bush thing, which is so that's just proof that this isn't new, right? We're used to a concession, okay, and then we're not used to writing it all the way out till January. Guess what? We're writing it out till January 6th when the Electoral College votes.
Once the Electoral College voted this week. They voted on Tuesday,
but they're not certified until
they go through the Congress.
And it doesn't matter it doesn't matter if they're actually certified by the governor. It has happened before in history with Nixon versus Kennedy that freaking Nixon, actually being vice president, looked and said, yeah, okay, actually Kennedy won. And instead of himself, said he won because of Hawaii, because there was confliction in the vote count, and it turned out that Kennedy won, and he had to accept the non-governor certified results because it had already been determined that those got sent when those were certified were wrong. So you have until the 6th, and it's up to Pence because there are conflicting electoral votes.
You there? Zach? Zach?
There we go. Wow. I really got to get this wired at some point. I'm glad you didn't out because that really would have been a horrible place to leave this. But I wouldn't have been surprised if you dipped out. But yeah, no, it's just one of those. Come the 6th of January, it is up to Pence, and he can decide to let it go to the Supreme Court. Go, you know what? You're conflicting. I can't even give you an answer. Neither one of you have enough.
I think Congress will certify it because all the states have certified it. The Electoral College has cast their votes. So at
Congress
this point,
certifying still becomes an iffy thing because, like I said, it actually turns into Mike Pence because the Electoral College, the whole thing is screwy, and it's not the first time it's happened though that it's come to this, and it has. And I'm not even talking just the Nixon thing.
There's no reason it should have to go that far though, because everything has come back. They've had zero reason. There's zero reason for it to move any further. In fact, the Supreme Court has made.
The thing is, there is still we're what at the 19th. We have till the 6th. There's a lot of time for a lot of things to happen. What I wouldn't be surprised, right? Because right now they're having a lot of issues come up. We just had that big hack of our of just about every system we have, right? That's a little bit of a bigger deal to me. And I would not be surprised. One, we need to stop pushing everything's Russia because not everything's Russia. Is it?
It was Russia.
What?
Not just Pompeo said it was Russia. I mean, if Pompeo says it's Russia, you better believe if somebody in the Trump, watch him get fired next.
Now all of a sudden you're pro Pompeo, but you would have been against him literally a week ago.
I'm just saying, a guy in the Trump administration said it was Russia. That's all I said. I don't like Pompeo.
But you're saying if Trump fires him, then he must have been right. Not that would be releasing something wrong. No, but my thing is,
Trump, you get fired. I mean, look what just happened to Bill Barr. Bill Barr's been Trump's biggest sycophant since the start, and Bill Barr just got fired because he said there was not a widespread election fraud, and Bill Barr just got fired.
We're assuming that's why he got fired.
Why else? He's been Trump's number one sycophant for years.
I wouldn't say sycophant. I would not say sycophant because, some of the stuff, you got to look at some of the stuff he did. First of all,
Trump's defense attorney in allegations of sexual assault from that lady and wherever she's from.
That wasn't Bill Barr.
He was going to do it. He was going to be Trump's defense attorney. I'm like, you're the attorney.
Okay. Let him be a defense attorney. That means he has. That doesn't matter.
He's the DOJ.
He wasn't at the time. He wouldn't have been at the time.
No, when he said he was going to take up Trump's case against this person, he was the Attorney General of the United States.
I'll go with it because I don't remember it. Look, how many people try taking Trump to court constantly? You know what? It's nothing new. And you know what? At the same time, Obama's freaking oh shit, what is it? AG. Literally said it was his job to defend freaking Obama during the freaking the gun running bullshit. Fast and the Furious. Sorry, I hate the movie, so I try to forget that term. I've got nothing for those movies. But the Fast and Furious, his attorney general actually said that it was time that was his job. He was Obama's fucking bulldog. So you know what?
I don't remember that, but I would have said that was BS too. Well, but you're not the president's personal, attorney. You're the Attorney General of the United States. You're on the side of the Justice Department. You're not a defense attorney.
They're the prosecutor
right, that's what I mean when I say you're on
the executive branch. So by all technicality, yeah, they are. I just won't double standard it and say it's okay for one but not for the other. I'm gonna look and be like, yeah, that's your job. Do it.
No, it's not okay for either of them. I don't care if you're Obama. I don't care if you're Trump. I don't care if you're George Washington.
You're defending the executive branch. There is a difference. Now, my thing coming, like I said, on which one you're talking about, I don't know, because we could be talking Stormy Daniels again. Is it really worth it? No. Who's not?
No, it's the other lady. It's the other one. The only one that seems to have any traction. I can't remember her name, but there's one that seems to have traction that's still pending litigation.
Let me go with this. Have you ever had false accusations made against you?
I mean, not in that category, but sure.
No. I'm talking in that category. Have you ever had false accusations made against you in that category?
No.
It's atrocious to go through.
Oh,
it
I'm sure.
Sucks. And I'll tell you, that was one of the times I was pushed towards suicide because I was like, oh my God, somebody could think that I did that?
Yeah.
No. And you know what? It provably false, but it still fucked with me. On that, look, until you show me evidence, I'm one of those people, you got to show me something. I'll take your story with a grain of salt that maybe there's a need for an investigation, but just because you said it doesn't mean it happened.
Sure.
I know people who literally go, well, no woman would lie about such a thing. Really?
No, they would.
Really?
They would. People will do anything to get paid.
Well, not even to get paid, to make if it helps their personal image, because it would look bad without getting it on YouTube more in depth. It would look bad for their personal image to not.
Right.
All of a sudden, it's a protection thing. How do I make myself not look bad? Well, then this.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you should, believe every story, but vet them. Vet them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I want to see proper vetting. I want to see the FBI investigation that was demanded by all the freaking Congress, right? For Brett Kavanaugh, I want to see them demand the same thing against Joe Biden. I want an FBI investigation on Biden before he can take office. Otherwise it's a double standard.
Well, I mean, Trump still took office, so it's not a double standard.
But his charges came after he was already in office.
No, those allegations have been around for a lot longer than the time he took office.
Well, then they've been as vetted as they're going to be.
Right, and I think that's why there's really, out of, I think, 40 women who have claimed, 25 or maybe it's 40 women, I don't remember how many it is specifically, that have made claims. As far as I understand, one has reached the level of potential criminal litigation.
My thing is, when you stop and look, the money that he's got, right, and look at his wife, right, him versus his wife. All right, I don't think the guy has to do anything where he has to go, okay,
I lost your audio.
I hit the mute button.
Oh, okay.
It sits too low. But I don't think, when you look at the guy, look at his wife, look at his ex-wives, right? He's not looking and going, hey, because I can do it. No, he's looking and going, I don't have to. I don't even have to look good. You see my hair? I don't fucking care. Women want me because I have money. He doesn't have to. I have less validity in that than some of the other, because this is the same guy who looked, and Jeffrey Epstein looks and goes, guy's creepy. I don't want him around anymore. All right. I have more respect for that than Bill Clinton, who goes, And let's say Clinton never went to the island. Let's say he didn't. He still hung around the dude. Trump
Clinton went to the island.
I'm not doubting that at all. I
guarantee you, Trump went to that island too. They all fucking went to the island.
No, because I don't think Trump did, because there's no proof that he did when they have found flight logs of the president going to this. That's even worse. That's even worse, because maybe you're the president. Everybody knows where you're going.
Went to the island, but he definitely, there are women that worked at Trump. What is it, Mar-a-Lago, that's close to Epstein's place in Florida, that they worked at Trump's place, who ended up being girls for Epstein. Trump was involved.
I don't think he was for a couple of reasons, and one of them being he literally went, and there's record of it. That dude's creepy. I want him gone. That dude's creepy. I don't like something about him.
Trump said that about Epstein, or Epstein said that about Trump?
Trump said that about Epstein. Okay. Now that would be, so I take the validity of that and how he presents himself when it comes to things like that the same way I do Ashton Kutcher, right? He seems like an idiot, but the motherfucker fights tooth and nail to stop sex trafficking and pours his own personal finances into it.
Sure.
Do I look and go, well, he's a Hollywood elite. He probably did the casting couch. He hung out with Danny Marsters.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I look and go, even that, I look and go, just because somebody made an accusation and they get paid off doesn't mean it happened. They pay him off because it's cheaper than to allow. And if that woman goes, yeah, I'll take the payout instead of seeing you brought to justice. Yeah, because money makes your trauma go away, right? No, there starts being a take and wait thing here. It's all like acting like it's only men do this to women, and that it's not the other way around. You're telling me the casting couch doesn't go the other way around too? Bullshit. There's women of power that will take advantage of men with less power.
I don't know that I could say that I've ever heard of a situation like that. I'm sure it happens, but I don't know any off the top of my head.
Because are the men going to come out and say something? Or are you taught that it emasculates you beyond measure to admit that's why you have less men reporting spousal abuse?
Yeah, but you still can't discount what Harvey Weinstein did.
Oh, no, I'm not taking away from that either. What I'm saying is, no, now you're bringing Harvey Weinstein.
Well, when you said the cast
Danny,
and couch, I assume that's what you meant. Was Harvey
no,
Weinstein.
because I think he did. I think he did it. But I'm also saying there's female producers and executive producers and everything else that do the same thing in reverse.
I don't know. I haven't ever heard of that. I just know that
or male on male would be a thing too, but you're not going to hear that reported.
Probably not. Yeah, I just know that when women have consistently been put in a position where they feel like they have to do those things, and not so much. Men have always been, in the positions of power throughout history. And so it's more likely that it happens in the Harvey Weinstein sort of instance.
Queen of England, Cleopatra. We can start listing off all these spots where historically women have power too. I don't play that the women are beneath men mentality. Women have a lot more control of men than men want to admit women have control of.
Okay. Sure, I'm not saying they don't. I mean. You know what I mean?
Just like the breaking of the glass ceiling, well, some of that's brought on your own based on choosing, what occupation you choose. There's no women must only do this. No, there's some of the things where, you have to be able to lift 75 pounds to do this job, and you can only lift 35 pounds. No, you can't have the job. I couldn't have the job either, though. So piss off. It's not just because there are certain jobs that require certain physical traits. When in the Army, I had girls who could out-PT me, physical training, right? Push-ups, sit-ups, 2-mile run. Outdo me on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't emasculate me. I looked and said, good for you. Why'd you cut your hair so short?
But I'm just saying, like, when it comes to the other thing, there has always been a glass ceiling. And so, if one in a certain few are able to break that doesn't mean, that it's that, other women have to work harder. I mean, there is the glass ceiling hasn't been there for the men like it has been for the women.
If you go to a factory, both are getting paid the same.
They're supposed to.
Go work at the floor. Go work the floor on the factory and tell me that there's a glass ceiling on that floor different than there is for anybody else. You're not getting a raise because you're a man, and you're not getting a raise because you're a woman. Starting pay is starting pay, and it's going to be as low as they fucking make it.
Sure.
If you want to start going executives, things like that, executive jobs and things like that, where you start going up into management, you have to A, strive for it, B, become qualified for it, and then C, actually decide to put the effort in to do it. I've known female HR managers and male HR managers.
Things more often than men. Statistically, women don't. If they do get them, they're statistically paid less than men.
They're also statistically trading pay for other things too, where they're looking, going, yeah, it's time to have a family. By the time I reach this point, I'm going to take this year with my kid. And then now you've got that break. You have these statistical things that go in with it as well. That doesn't necessarily make it a true glass ceiling. They're getting these positions, but they're choosing more time off versus work. Men statistically will push themselves to the point of breaking harder than women will too. Men go to the doctor.
I've met some boss ass women.
I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm saying men will push themselves to a point where they don't take. Ask my wife how often I take vacation days. She just told me I don't.
Vacation days.
She literally just goes, "You don't." Yeah. She'll put it in the damn chat even if she had to, right? I just don't. Why? It doesn't pay the bills. But you know what? Does that make my wife any less because she stays at home? Hell no. She deals with the kids all day long. I get to escape the house. Who do you think's winning?
Not you.
She's I get to escape and then I come home, right? So she's dealing with this, raising the kids, because daycare is fucking expensive. Like daycare,
her work is no less valuable than yours.
No. Hers is more so.
Valuable. Yeah,
I would say hers is more so.
Yeah, you're the one escaping. That's what I meant to say. When I said not you, I meant you.
Yeah. I figured it was sarcasm. But yeah, or towards her, or you're yelling across, like bouncing off the wall to go, not you, lady. But
I meant you. Yeah.
yeah, but no, I mean that's the thing. I mean, out of all realism, could she work? Sure. Is it financially feasible for our household? No. I'm not paying somebody $10 an hour to babysit my kid if I'm making 14. Now I don't make $14, but otherwise, well, we couldn't afford her to stay home, right?
Right.
So obviously, I don't make great money, but I don't make bullshit money either, right? We're not making $200,000 a year in this household, right? We're not even making $100,000 a year in this household, right? But the trade-off is I'm not paying for gas for her to go to and from work. I'm not paying for an extra meal that has to get made because she can make lunch and the kids get too. I'm not paying for all these other extras that would have to get done.
Right.
And there are babysitters wanting $10 an hour going, I only babysit first shift. You know how hard it is to find a second or third shift babysitter?
Pretty impossible.
And then if you get mandated to work overtime, where are your kids going?
Right.
Because they only work till 4.
Yeah.
So, I mean, realistically, I mean, it is what it is, but yeah.
Right.
I mean, so I look and go, now women make choices for the family. My wife looks and goes, you have a skilled trade that makes more money than my skilled trade because of where we live. My wife is pastry arts, right? She's going to during certain cycles of the year would make more money because people with COVID, nobody's having weddings, so you're not getting wedding cakes out. You're not, birthday parties are a miss. So in that. Sure, there's times of the year her occupation would make lots of money, but then you got the downturn too. I'm in transportation. Why it's considered transportation, I don't know because I don't have people. But I'm in transportation. I move freight, right? So
more logistics, but yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm in this, so I look and go, okay, I have upticks and downticks, but they're more holiday now. The COVID affects it, things like that, but they're more holiday, they're stock managed and whatnot. But there's it's an essential job. So where's the trade-off? Sure, my job will make more money in an hourly rate than what hers would. I've got the version I stay home, or I am home every night instead of out over the road at least. But so I get paid hourly. My hourly rate is less than if you drove an hour to any competitor, which is in Toledo, we go the other direction where you're hitting any other big city without doxing myself, hitting big cities. Being rural town America, I better back off a little bit. But where I have people pounding down my door because I said, men get raped too. Who would have thought? How dare I've got burning crosses in my freaking driveway or something, But so I'd get paid. Top out pay for my company's almost starting pay for these other ones, and it's only an hour away.
Yeah,
that's only an hour difference. But our top out pay at 15 years is starting pay for these other companies.
Wow.
Because I'm in a niche. What am I going to do? Drive an hour? You're spending more money to work,
right?
And even less time at home.
More gas, more time on the road.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, hombre, it is.
Yes, it is.
11 o'clock. Probably call it, but good talking.
Probably should. We went a good fair amount of time because with you being late, I'd say we did just a little over 2 hours with you. So
yeah.
I appreciate you coming on. Hopefully you're not chased away on coming on again.
No, I'll come back.
I know scheduling makes it a little difficult, but we do shoot for Saturdays from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. So today about 48 minutes over. I started the stream a little early to give people, hey, we're starting at 8. That way they have a chance to see. Plus to give everybody else a chance to not join, apparently. So I don't know if you have or not, but subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell so you can watch when you're not on. Which don't worry. I guarantee you, our other host will not even watch this video. I don't think he's watched the other three. That he hasn't been on here recently. He's switching to second shift starting the beginning of the year too. So I just won't change the show title again.
Or you do your shows at like 6 a.m.
No, because if I start drinking at 6 a.m. to deal with his ass, then there goes my whole day. I mean, that's horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so share with your friends. We're word of mouth. We don't have algorithm numbers yet. I think we're at like 15, 16 subscribers now. What are we at? Not very many.
But they're loyal subscribers, right?
No, I don't even think they're loyal.
Not even loyal subscribers.
Oh, we're at 17. So we don't even have a loyal host besides me. So, But I do actually have somebody. What? Right. Yeah, my wife down here. No, I won't subscribe, like, or comment. Well, you just commented, and I know she probably won't like it, but she liked each video, but she has subscribed. But I do have a coming about mid to late January. I should be having a podcaster. It's an Army veteran that I worked with, and she was rated in the top 25 of veteran podcasts in the nation.
Oh, wow.
And she's only been going for about a year. She's got 100 episodes. So she's like, oh, I didn't know you had a show. I was like, I've had a couple shows. We had to rename. Had one guy murder somebody, so just like swamped everything out, right? Yeah. Very, like, would not have seen it coming. Everybody who knew him was like, well, first of all, we thought he was a pussy, so nobody saw any of this coming, right? Like, right. I not even tried to make light out of it. Like, literally just could not see it. Didn't fit. But he's in prison now. So we scrubbed the show clean, renamed it, started all over again. And then moved into trying to do on YouTube. I'm trying to figure out how to get it on Spotify because I don't have an RSS feed. Apparently YouTube just got rid of their RSS feed links. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that because with the StreamYard, it lets me do Twitch. I don't know what Twitch is. I guess I can do
video game streaming.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Streaming your video game playing. I mean, I'm sure you can stream other stuff, but as far as I understand, it's mostly video games.
Okay. Yeah, I can do Vimeo. I can do. There's a couple different ones. If they take the RTMP or whatever link, I can do them. I don't know what any of this means. I used to be able to know all this shit, and now I'm just lost. And they keep changing everything.
You can get yourself an OnlyFans.
Okay. I am working on. I'm thinking about breaking down and doing a Patreon. I want to if I get a few more subscribers, start doing some like small merchandise things. That way, people can advertise it out. But first, people have to want to spend money. First, people have to want to watch the show, apparently. But we get about 21 views a week. So
takes time.
Oh, it does, especially when you're rebuilding, and then you get people not showing up. But anyways, mid-January, I should have her come on, and she interviews a lot of different people. And she was in a major car accident about a year or 2 years ago. Her and her daughter should have died. And then she, out of her bout of depression, started doing this. And she's actually writing a book. Her show's going international now, actually, too. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So she probably won't watch this far into it if she watches this video. I'm not afraid to use my friends to network myself. Bring her on because then she tells people she's on the show. People watch the show. With all luck, I get brought on her show, which then networks me out to more people.
Right.
And she also wouldn't get mad that I'm doing that. But I mean, that was part of the reason I was like, hey, you should come on my show. Hopefully people can be appropriate because they sure as fuck can in a messenger block. So
you don't want to put me in there. I'll just share a bunch of like super left-wing memes just to piss everybody off.
No, they might find it funny, but no, the one he actually goes, oh, okay, I'll try to keep it more professional. He wasn't trying to be offensive. It wasn't his intention, but he's actually a licensed therapist that's working on becoming getting his doctorate. So it'll actually be a psychiatrist.
Oh.
Psychiatrist. So yeah. So I'm like, hey, yeah, I've known you since you were little, specialist, Norm, and now, using first name because he's becoming a doctor, and we should use doctors' first names. But that not calling his last name just yet. But so anyways, and he was military police, became an infantry officer, went that. Now he's out. He has hair now instead of looking like Bull from Night Court because he's a tall motherfucker. So, and bald as hell, he looked like Bull from Night Court. But now he's got hair and stuff. It's the weirdest thing. But he does a lot of like charity things for preventing veteran suicide and everything else. That's the route he's gone, and he serves a lot of soldiers overseas. So he's having to do this video call. So trying to get him on here in every chance, but now he's like, "Oh, I wasn't meaning to be offensive, so I'll do my behavioral health ones. I've got no issue trying to find some humor that's more appropriate. Too easy, semi-professional. It's like a little more professional, but yeah, sure, we'll call it semi-professional."
Well, sounds like you got some good stuff coming up. I got to drop because my computer's going to die. But thanks for talking.
Yep. Don't be afraid to actually subscribe and share it with your friends. And thank you for being on. And anytime you're welcome. Just let us know if you want on every Saturday. And I don't know if we're postponing anything holiday wise. Depends on if I can get anybody on. So I think New Year's Eve would be nice to actually have people hop in and out as we go. So because there's probably no ball dropping. So but all right. So thank you for being on. You have a good day.
You too, man. Have a good night.
Yep.
Bye.
Okay. Well, this has been the Nick and Zac Show. I am your apparent host of the day, Zac. I have not said it yet today, so we'll have to say it, and that is right here. Batacath care and chewing on a shot of depression. I should have brought it on with him while he was on. Because he did vote for Biden, but we do appreciate Mike having come on the show. So if he watches this part, I was nice that I didn't say Batacath care or chewing on a shot of depression. But now you have it down on the bottom. Follow us at the Facebook, the Nick and Zac Show, the Instagram, Zac the Nick and Zac Show at MP Jags, Nick of the Nick and Zac Show at VK Tactical. The other Zac still doesn't have an Instagram, and I don't know if I can get him to get a tweeter. But you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming on. Leave your comments that aren't sending people to porn sites, please. I will delete those, and I think a few more slipped in from last week's channel that I have to go delete still. So you guys have a good day. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. If I can understand how to close these out, I guess we won't see you next time. We'll see you this time. This whole time. I should have done this while I was saying it. Oh well.